3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to episode 149 of Ruse Radio. We are back at it again with a very special guest. Please introduce yourself, sir.
I'm Laz Patillo, a comedian, event producer, and owner of Deep End, which is a comedy entertainment platform that I've been doing for like 4 or 5 years now. So,
what is Deep End exactly?
So basically, I started it in 2020, and basically it's like a multifaceted kind of like entertainment platform where we pedal out, like live content as well as like digital content, mostly for comedians, and like some music and stuff too here and there. I found it was just kind of like a void in Chicago when it comes to just like platforms for like up and coming comedians to really be broadcasted or be seen. Like, there's no Chicago Kill Tony, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. So I'm trying to kind of get into that market a little bit, so.
Interesting. Because when I started doing the podcast in Flint, where I'm from, I would do them with Flint rappers and things like this, and I felt the same. I kind of like realized through doing it, because before even that, I did a thing called 60 Seconds With. That's the first interview thing I ever really did.
Okay.
And it was just it was off a joke somebody said, because we said like, oh, we'll do a 60-minute interview with this band. Somebody else made the joke, oh, we'll do 60 seconds with the band, because they're waiting on an Uber. So it was like,
oh, I see.
It was just a joke. And then I was like, oh, yeah, let's actually do it. And I filmed a quick interview with them, and then I edited it together. And then that's what I started to do. I would film full interviews, and I would cut them down to 60 seconds. All of that because I was thinking, like, this is a good idea if I wanted to. It's just a good idea as, like, a brand. It's a good idea for me with the thing I'm doing already. It makes sense for me to reach out and work with other people. But what you realize through doing it is, like, oh, my God, like, I'm actually doing something no one else is doing.
Right.
Like, no one is platforming these people and like giving them a space to do this.
Exactly.
And then you literally, there's a whole purpose that you realize you have here.
Because I mean, like, what if it's not us? Like, who else is gonna do this stuff?
Exactly.
Like, I mean, like your bigger comedy institutions, like they pretty much invest in comics that invest in them, and like like let's say if you were an improver and you are, in Second City, like they kind of only rock with you if you like take Second City classes and buy workshops and do, you know what I mean? So that kind of thing, or like make them money in some way. So, I mean, when it comes to independent producers, it's just all, like free love, just we all got skills, we all got information we come with. So we really just, at this point, just share it with each other. It's like all we can really do to build each other up.
Have like a big community. Ron Bloom told me that he had a little like chat group of him and a bunch of other producers, and when comics would come to town, they would all message each other, and like, if one of them couldn't book them, the other one could, because it's not a competition. Like you're all actually working together.
I mean, yeah, it's not really like if someone else gets on in the comedy scene in Chicago, that doesn't negatively affect me in any way.
No,
you know what I mean?
If you're producing shows, it's good.
Right.
Because then,
exactly.
like, if you know that person, especially.
If I have a relationship with them, I could probably, let's say now he's getting millions of views, follows. Like, now I could be like, oh, come back to my show. And now
I mean, honestly, that's what I think, like, is part of the genius of doing it, right? Is, like, it is always who you know. It's always, like, random connections you make along the way. So just the fact that you're connecting these dots for people and you're putting them on, you're giving them shows, like people remember that. They remember you as the guy who did that, you know, which is a very valuable thing.
And that's like the type of thing I would like to be remembered for.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of ways to, make it big, quote unquote, or, get money, get further. But it's like, okay, but if people aren't saying like pleasant things about you along the way, or like, oh wow, this person helped me at this time, like that's the kind of thing that I like. Okay, you're actually a part of a community, you've actually like been in the trenches with people, so that's kind of what interests me about this whole industry, really.
Yeah, and I think like that's a real difference that you're making when you do that. Like when people have a real thing to say about what you did, like it made you feel some type of way, you know, it's a lot different than like when someone's thoughtful in what they're doing and they include other people and they like are smart in the way that they do that. I think that like that, I've had conversations with people where it's like, you know, there's always a comedian who will go to open mics and then never stick around or talk to anybody.
Oh, yeah, you got to stick around.
Yeah. But there's plenty of people who they'll still get booked, but that is what they do. And it's like, it's not even like that's a good or bad thing. It's just you're missing out.
Yeah.
Like there's so much that could be accomplished from you hanging out and just getting to know these people. It's just, you're actually losing a big opportunity. Sometimes you're busy. You're going mic to mic to mic. That's different. But
right.
Like just making the connection is a big part of it. You know?
Like stick around. You know, you never know what just sticking around and staying for the whole show can do for you.
Yeah.
You never know who will see you, who will be like, oh, actually, that guy was funny. Let me talk to him or let me get him on my show. So. Yeah. I don't know. I guess, I understand because people are weird and sometimes I don't want to be around them, but it's like, you know, just stick around sometimes.
Well, like, okay, some people are weird, though. The problem is that some people are actually weird. Like, at open mics, people are, you can't not be around weird people. Like, the problem about an open mic, the concept, cause it's so funny. I was talking with somebody, I won't say who it was. I was talking with him recently, and he was like, I want to have an open mic where I can kick people out.
Oh yeah, no.
So
I've heard a lot of people say the same thing. I'm like, I get it. I
don't think it would work.
I don't think it would work because it's
but
like
it's funny.
This is. I don't really think people understand what open mics like.
Exactly, it defeats the whole purpose.
Yeah, this is the level where people are going to be trash. Like that. There's no way of getting around an open mic being trash. It's like open mic. You're literally saying anybody can do this.
yeah, it's
a book
dangerous.
lineup. All right, like maybe you could kick people out. Maybe you could be a little picky, but like, why do people get so picky and like so like weird about open mics? I never understand. Because
I think they probably have a standard for themselves, and they're just thinking in their own mind, like, "Oh, I shouldn't be subject to this." That's my best guess, you know.
Grow up.
I think I like the open mics for the reason that you get everything. I actually like that.
So I don't like them, and that's fine. Like, it's not supposed to be liked. It's like. Yeah. It's like, just think about anything else that you would start off on. You're not going to like it. It's like, yeah, I don't like working at McDonald's. Yeah, I don't I don't like, you know, like pushing carts or being at a register. But you have to get here to get somewhere else. That's just how it is. Like,
it's funny. I think when I had Ryan Raymond on here just recently, I think he said, like, how I must be crazy for just going to open mics and not being a comic because, like, how crazy is that, you know?
I mean, I definitely salute to you. I'm glad that somebody's doing the work. You know what I mean? Like, I admire your strength.
Well, just witnessing them at their worst is kind of the point he was making.
Right.
Like, you know, none of these people want to be here.
Right.
Like, the fact that then he mentioned like there were a couple regulars at one of the open mics he goes to, and it's just kind of odd that they're there.
It's a weird place to judge quality.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like sometimes people tell me like, yeah, you know, you want to get booked more, you know, like hit all the open mics and things like that. But like, am I auditioning at these open mics or am I trying out new material? Like, if these are auditions, cool, but where's the place I could try out new material? So it's like everyone's there for a different reason. So it's just kind of hard to really like have down what the actual reason that you're there.
That's a good point. Yeah, because people are there for different reasons. Like, really, it should be the latter. It should be trying out new material. It shouldn't be known as like a place where producers go and they might.
Why are you going there?
Don't go there.
Like, to find people. That's just like. People have social medias for that. People send in clips for that. Yeah. It's like, I'm going to ignore all that. I'm going to ignore my booking submission email.
It's the old school. It's the old school in them, you know? It's like, let's do it the way it's supposed to be done. Yeah. Because back in the day, that would be it, right? You're going to go to a show. You're going to see somebody. You're not going to read about them and know what they...
Good point, right.
That's my guess. Like, they want to experience your energy in person.
You know, the weird thing about, too, is, like, I feel like open mics, and maybe they used to be different, but I know, like, open mics now are mostly... like the most deadest nights that bars have, and it's just an audience of comics mostly. So it's kind of like, this is a little bit hard to prepare material in front of a bunch of competitors.
Yes.
Versus like, okay, you got like they used to call it amateur night, like back in the day. So it's like, okay, you got like, you know, a bunch of people who are just hanging out here, and you can sign up to get on for amateur night, but you're performing in front of a crowd that aren't all necessarily performers, you know what I mean? So it's like, at least that it had that half and half, like half performers, half, you know,
because there were regular people who just
regular people, yeah.
And they were advertising it as an amateur night, so it's kind of fun. It's like a fun show for anybody to go to.
Exactly. Versus like open mics are like, I have no reason to be here. No one's going to, oh, come on.
The people who are there on accident, all the passerbys
exactly.
who have been lured into this situation.
They're like, oh, I didn't even know there was an open mic tonight. Versus like amateur night, it's like, okay, you know, like I'll see what's going on in the community and shit. Like,
that's interesting because that is completely different.
It's different,
I don't know
man.
what's better because like there's pressure in that, but the pressure in that might be a good thing too. Like you might want people to feel like it's a show.
There should be a little pressure, I think.
Yeah, there's not really any pressure at most open mics.
Yeah, it's just kind of like anyone get up and say anything even if they don't have anything prepared. Or this should be
I've seen people talk about their day.
Like, yeah, I mean, I don't want to be too much of like a...
I'm not a hater.
person.
I like it.
Right, yeah, it is what it is, you know.
I'm just saying you can see anything.
Yeah, and I'm sure someone could find success or like stumble their way into some really good material just talking about their day.
Absolutely.
You know? So it's good that there's an open space for that. But also, you know, it just used to be a little different, you know.
Yeah. Every amateur has to become a professional somehow. And I think he's right. I think it takes a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I think it takes a little competition. I think it takes a little bit of pressure to make a diamond. That's just the way it is. And we're all amateurs at first. We all start off just trying our very best to make it to the top, to do what we want to do. It's very, very rare, practically impossible for you to be the professional at first. But I think through facing that pressure, through doing things over and over, facing adversity, doing things that you know are difficult, that you're a little bit afraid of, after you do that enough times, you face the noise, you walk in and you challenge yourself, you start to become a mind blower, a professional mind blower, because you are the guy that faces the noise, or the gal, or the whatever. You go out there, you do it over and over and over again enough times, people are like, holy freaking crap, you're amazing, you always manage to blow our minds. I think that's your profession now. And if that's your profession, you were an amateur and now you're a professional, you're a mind blower, you blow the minds, you could put it on a resume, you do it so often, you could put it on a t-shirt, you do it so often. That's what we're talking about here, folks. We got professional mind blower t-shirts. We've got smalls, we got mediums, we got larges. We can make more sizes if you so please. $25 for a t-shirt. That is shipping included. It's a great way for you to support this show, and we need your support, so please consider it. And also, it's just a great conversation starter. You see what I'm saying? I mean, people be like, what do you mean you're a professional mind blower? And then you blow their minds with something that you do, okay? That's how you do it, and you are a professional mind blower. I believe in you. I want to see how you're going to go blow the minds, because I know you can do it. Every single one of us can do it somehow. That's what's so beautiful about this world, and that's why I love doing this podcast, is I can constantly highlight the professional mind blowers of the world. So you want to support this podcast and make it easier for me to do that? Maybe you don't want a shirt. Well, don't worry. We got you covered. There's this little thing called Patreon. $5 a month, the price of a coffee, the price of a beer at the bar, and you make this show grow. You make it bigger and better. You make it more and more awesome. I want to bring in the biggest and bestest names of the universe into this room, or whatever other room I'm going to film this show in, and the only way I can do that is with your help. So seriously, the Patreon is a great way for you to support me. We've got exclusive content on there. We've got podcast stuff that's only on there. We've got my music stuff that's only on there. I'm talking songs that will never be released anywhere but Patreon. And also, third thing, I release my songs early on Patreon, so you can hear them before anybody else. A lot of exclusive stuff on there, and that's just to make that offer a little more appealing. What it's really all about is supporting this show, because seriously, guys, if enough of you do that, this show can become my one thing I do, the only thing I spend my time on, and that's what I want. I want this show to be my all-encompassing job, so please help me to do that. It's what I love more than anything. I love people. I love my professional mind blowers, and they blow my mind, and they continue to all the time. That's the beauty of humanity, and I promise you that inspiration foundation, the foundry of inspiration that is humankind, will never run dry. That is the power of the soul. Also, one more thing I want to tell you about. I've got a show coming up. This is a big deal, probably the biggest thing I've done yet. I'm going to be wrapping at the end of Roast Battle Chicago, and I'm going to be wrapping it all up. I'm going to be hitting them with the bars, large and in charge, Ruse on the stage, talking smack. That's right. I'm going to be telling the people all about their shortcomings, and I'm going to be doing it live at the end of Roast Battle. I'm really excited about this. I'm really excited to be partnering up with Roast Battle. It's a super awesome thing going on in Chicago. It is like what this show is. It's putting on comics. It's giving them a place to shine, and I think that's super awesome. I think that there needs to be more of that, more spots where you can go find a bunch of comics that are in the scene and people who are pushing it forward, people who are pushing boundaries, and also the show itself pushes the comedians to write new material and to try new stuff. So I'm super excited to be a part of it at all, because I really do like what they're doing at Roast Battle Chicago, and I'm going to light that room up. So I hope to see you there. May 1st, I'll be rapping at Roast Battle Chicago. So if you're watching this and it has not yet been May 1st, 2025, you get yourself in that room, okay? You won't be disappointed. And don't even do it just for me. Do it for the awesomeness that is Roast Battle. Speaking of Roast Battle, I got a feeling this conversation is heading that way. Huh? Am I a psychic? I don't know. Let's find out. I think the competition is good in a sense. That's why I think Roast Battle exists. I think Roast Battle I'm trying to remember if it was Chris Grieco who said it, because it's him and another guy who founded it. But they have like a documentary on their YouTube.
Yeah, it's like Jeff Ross and... Or I don't know, is Jeff Ross just like a newer person that takes it over?
I don't know if is he a part of it now? I know he showed up a couple times just as like a surprise guest.
I think Jeff Ross is like a part of the bigger Roast Battle brand.
But I thought he just had his own independent thing that he had started. I thought he's like kind of the original pioneer. I thought he was the one who made it a show when no one else had it as a show.
Okay, but you're saying Roast Battle Chicago.
Yeah, I'm talking about this specific one.
Yeah, because Roast Battle Chicago used to be called something else.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I forgot what it was called, but it wasn't officially Roast Battle Chicago at first.
Oh, wow.
It was just like another roasting show, I think at like Lincoln Lodge, and they called it something else. And then it eventually got like, I don't know how, maybe they submitted to be the official Roast Battle of Chicago.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember it like happened recently too. Like it was
That's crazy.
It happened after the pandemic, I believe. Like during the pandemic, the roasting show started, and then like 2022 or something, they got their official roast battle of Chicago.
Right, because they haven't uploaded on YouTube any longer than I think like 2 years. So that would line up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it hasn't been around that long.
Okay, but it has, just not in that format.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either. I thought it just kind of like really started.
Well, maybe
years
I
ago.
never really. So, like I said, they called it something else before, so I'm sure.
But the same concept.
Yeah, it might have been like the same format, same concept. Yeah, that's what I'm assuming it was, but I don't know if it was like I never been, so I didn't know. Like,
yeah, well, they have it on YouTube. Like they upload everything. Like,
okay,
that's one thing that really I think is impressive. Is they film all the shows and they put it all on YouTube.
I'm gonna have to check it out. Yeah, because do they have like is it like multicam?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And well, I'm pretty sure for the performers they have one camera, but then they cut to another camera for the guest or the judge panel, and they have the surprise guest
the crowd
sometimes
in the back too. Sometimes,
yeah.
Okay.
And with the way that they've been booking the guests, they've been getting bigger and bigger guests. Recently, I think they had that one who's on Kill Tony all the time, KC Rocket. He was one of their guests recently.
Nice.
I think that one's on YouTube now.
Nice. Okay.
So there's just shit like that, and then Jeff Ross again. The fact that Jeff Ross comes through is a huge. That's just awesome on its own.
I'm just wondering how many roast battles he goes to like a year. Like he's like Detroit, like he's just like fucking Montana roast battle. Like he's just like doing a tour, just popping in. I mean, I'm sure in Chicago we're probably starting to get a little notoriety, from the overall roast battle community. I would have to look to see like what the videos do. Do they do numbers?
Some of them do.
Some of them do. Okay.
Like I think the top one was it Ken Flores? He just passed away.
Oh, it was Ken Flores and who?
And someone else. I can't remember the other guy. But Jeff Ross was also part of the panel on that video.
Oh, cool.
It's like 600,000 views, 500,000, some big number. I can't remember what it is. But it's like stuff like that, I'm sure, are big bumps for them. There was a girl who was on Kill Tony, and it was her and Stephanie Robertson.
There's a few people from Chicago that have been on Kill Tony.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think of other. Brandon Kiefer, Peyton Ruddy, he's been on there. Tina, her last name's not coming to me. I'm ashamed. I should know her last name.
Yeah, I just booked her on my show. Starts with a Y, right?
Yeah.
Tina.
Shame on us.
Sorry, Tina. Sorry. I'll get it right before the show.
I'm amazed I remembered as many things as I've remembered so far. Right. Okay.
I'm amazed I remember anything.
Exactly. But yeah, all those guys, they've been on there. There's other comics too. There's plenty we haven't mentioned. There's so many. I mean, there's countless episodes of that show even. And like I think it's interesting how it's become kind of a platform in a way. It really has, like, even if you don't like Kill Tony, you can't deny that the people who have
a platform. Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of, we need more of those. I'll just say that.
I agree. Yeah. I agree. Like, because someone once said to me that they didn't like Kill Tony. I was like, so what would you do? Like, how would you have a better version of Kill Tony? Because I think that's the right question to ask.
That's
like,
the right question to ask yourself. If you're like, man, I just wish this was different. It's like, how would you make it? What would you like to attend? It's kind of
because that should be the answer. It should always be like, what do I not like about this thing? Like, why? In my mind, it's good to think that way as long as you have ideals. You have an ideal version in your mind.
Right. You got like some actual like solutions in your mind too, and not just criticizing somebody for doing something when you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I feel like majority of people probably get stuck in that. It's an easy place to get stuck in where you like, man, fuck that thing. It's like, all right, what would you do? It's like, oh no, I was just
hold on.
Hey, I was just here for the chicken. All right,
Yeah, but yeah, Kill Tony. Even though like, I don't know. I don't even really see much wrong with it. Truly, I think it's crazy how it's gotten to where it is. It's inspirational in a sense when you think about it. I mean, there's 600 episodes in. It's become like one of the biggest things in comedy.
Yeah,
over time, naturally.
And they're in Austin, right? Now?
Yeah, now they're in Austin.
Well, where were they at before?
L.A. I'm pretty sure they went from L.A. to Austin.
So they did the
jump.
They did the
Joe Rogan
thing.
jump.
Yeah, which is interesting because like I was talking to what's his name, Aaron McDavis.
Okay.
He's a comic. He's been in the game for a while in Chicago, and he was telling me that he used to do comedy in Austin, and he was saying like Austin is actually extremely like liberal city, like at least when he was there. So it's kind of weird that people from a little liberal city are like, oh, let's go to Austin. That's where we can not put on this facade or whatever. But it's like, no, Austin was all about that at first. Like, Austin was trying to be like L.A. Now L.A. is trying to be like Austin. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of weird.
Oh, the turntables.
They have the turntables, man.
Because that makes sense because from what I've heard, Austin is it's a blue city in a red state.
Right.
So what I've heard it described as is that it at least balances that out, so it doesn't go too far in that direction, and you get more of just a centrist kind of thing.
Right, which I'm sure, especially with Joe Rogan and Kill Tony being out there, there's probably like so much like in between, and like there's probably like opportunities for everybody now.
Oh, I'm sure for comedy it's probably a good place to be. Undeniably. But someone Nikki B, he just told me that he had a friend who was from Austin. He moved from Austin to here, and he said that it's just too competitive there now.
Really?
And the better time to be there would have been when that Joe Rogan jump happened back in 2020.
Yeah, you always got to catch the wave early, or it's going to get oversaturated. I mean, even in Chicago, I mean, like it's hella competitive here. It's a lot of people who are like, oh yeah, who had the same thought that they probably thought was original. Like, I don't want to go to New York. I don't want to go to L.A. Okay, Chicago. And then you get to Chicago, and you're like, oh, shit, a lot of people have the same thought as me. So, I got to stand out somehow. So it's like.
I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, man.
It is the nicer one out of the three, though, I'd have to imagine. Like, it's because it's my theory is it's just Midwestern hospitality kind of playing out. I think Chicago, that's one. I'm from Michigan, so I think that's what attracted me.
So you just right over the lake.
Exactly. It's not even that different with like but it is. I think people are actually nicer here than where I'm from. It feels like people are actually nicer here. Like I'm like, oh, people are more like communal.
Interesting.
In this type of place.
More than Michigan.
At least more than Flint, Michigan.
Okay.
Swartz Creek, Michigan too, because I was born in Swartz Creek. I grew up there, and then I moved to Flint, and then I moved here. So.
That's so interesting because it's like, you know, I have my like growing up here. I've had my like gripes about Chicago, and then like I've went to other places where like, I'm like, oh, they're much nicer here. And then other places where they're like, oh, you guys are so nice in Chicago. Like, I would love to move there. And I'm like, you know, everything balances out at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's all kind of relative, too.
It's all relative,
It's all your experience. Like, you know, some place you might think is really nice, and then you live there, and you're like, oh, my God.
Right. Yeah, some places are good to visit. Yeah.
My mom said when I was going to move to Chicago, she was saying to me, like, oh, I thought when I was a kid I would love to live in Miami. And then I had to move to Miami, and I hated it there. And she was kind of, she's like warning me against maybe moving.
Don't follow your dreams.
That's my mom trying to keep me in the nest.
Right.
Can't blame her.
When'd you move here?
2023. June.
Oh, wow. So you're real new. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How you liking it?
Oh, I love it here.
You got a little interview platform that's blowing up, man.
You know what's funny is this is episode 149, as I said, but I went up to 88 before moving here, and then I just didn't film anything for the longest time. I didn't do anything.
Oh, so you were doing this in Michigan?
Yeah.
First. Oh, cool.
Yeah, and that's where it was with musicians mostly and stuff like that, because there wasn't much of comedians where I was.
Gotcha.
So it was just that was the natural people that I would find myself talking to. But really, the goal is anybody. I really don't even care. It's putting people on, you know, as you were saying.
Yo, salute to you. This is a cool like platform you got. I've heard of it from friends and stuff like that.
It's so cool is it's organic, like you said.
Yeah.
You just said you heard it from friends. That's so cool to me.
Yeah.
You know? Because it's just you know people who've been on.
Exactly.
And you're like, oh my God, that's my friend.
Exactly. Yeah, and it looks pretty professional. It looks like, you know, like when I saw the pictures and the videos from it, I'm like, I would like to be on that one day. So
yeah, that's the goal,
you're doing
dude.
A good thing, man.
Don't you feel the same way when you're trying to like make these shows and put them together? And you're like, have you ever had comics reach out to you so far and say like, hey, let me? To me, that's really it's a cool feeling.
It's like the weirdest thing. Sometimes I still just find it weird that people know who I am or anything or like.
Yeah,
I was so I go to DePaul, and I was sitting in the library, and me and like some classmates were working on a group project, and then it was just like these two girls that came up to me. She's like, "Oh, you're so funny! I've seen you were on that show, right? Like, it was like this show called The Giggle Hour. Shout out to KP, she produces it with some friends." And then I was just kind of like, "Oh yeah, I was there." She was like, "Yeah, you did the poem about this and that," and I was just like, yes, that was me. I was just kind of like, I was like, that's weird, you know, like, I don't know. It's the strangest thing, like when.
Well, you know, and that's just like a microdose of what fame is.
Yeah, it's not even fame. Yeah, it's just kind of more like you're doing. I feel like it gets like that when you're just doing stuff consistently enough in the city to where like multiple people from multiple different areas could somehow run into you or catch whiff of you. But, you know, yeah, of course. I wouldn't even call that fame. That's just like you being consistent. And then fame, that's like a whole different thing.
But I think like fame is just the massive version of that. It's just everybody knowing things about you because of what you've done. You know,
right?
Like you've established yourself enough to where now everybody like
anyone could stumble upon you. You know, like they go to Comedy Central website or something. They see you on TV on a commercial. You know,
see, podcasts are scary because what it is now for me is like I'll have people say like, oh yeah, like you're really like you're good at like they'll just say things about things I've said on podcasts or like they'll mention things that I've said and I'm like, damn, like you probably listen to me talk for so long.
No, man.
I barely know you and you know me so well.
Right.
And that's a very strange feeling.
You're like, man, that was such a strong take you had on this the Supreme Court justices. You're like, wait, I don't even remember talking about
You'll be like, hold on, I'll pull it up.
Right. You don't remember this detailed opinion?
But it's like you said, you get so used to doing it in the process of it, you don't even remember the...
Sometimes you don't even remember like what might have stuck with people or like...
When it's... that's... You know, what's funny about like doing... Because I edit the clips, so... And it's... I'd have to... I am one of those people where I tell myself, nobody can edit like I can. But I know for a fact it's just finding the right editor. Because, like, there's a magic to editing clips. Like, when I did that 60 Seconds with show, it's like I would take a full interview and I would have to evaluate what is worth keeping for a tiny 60 I would interview them for 20 minutes and I would cut 19 minutes off. And so like picking a clip, it's the same shit. It's like you have to find a moment and then, what were they saying there? And how is that like, how can I make that a universal idea that's simply communicated rather than, because most people who do podcast clips, they're just doing basic like it's just like a clip from your podcast. Like sometimes edited by AI and it's just cut
I was
back
gonna
and
say
forth.
that, apparently they're using AI.
And that's fine.
I mean, I get ads for it all the time. I'd be thinking about it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I don't even blame you.
Yeah.
But like it's so much more effective when you do it the other way. And I think like I forgot the point I was making, but I guess like when people see that, like people who I don't know. Like, it's cool. Oh, that's what I was saying. Like, you don't even realize what those moments are. You don't even realize what those moments are when you're having the show or even when I'm thinking about the show. Like, I just edited a clip and posted it of Emily Ogle. I knew it was a moment, okay? You know Emily Ogle? You familiar with her?
It sounds familiar, yes.
Yeah. She told me she fell and broke her arm when she was little, and then she shows me her arm and starts bending it back and forth.
Damn.
And I'm like, oh, my God.
The double jointed, like the, I don't know, anybody who danced, like the Les Twins, like the...
Yeah. It was wild. And then that clip gets 4,000 views. The podcast itself has like 600 views. That clip has 4,000.
Nice.
And it's just thinking about the fact that like people find you from all these different things. You never know what people are going to remember you from or where it starts.
It could be accidental.
It usually is. It's usually the random stuff, like I said, that random moment,
Yeah. No, I mean...
It's crazy to think about that. I think about them like entry points. Like you're creating entry points for people to notice you.
Right. Yeah, I think that's the important part of media training and learning how to kind of like be yourself like on camera, or because you could just like if you act like the camera isn't there, then maybe you'll do something stupid enough to where people are like, hey, that was actually pretty funny or original, like that kind of thing. I mean, I don't know. The podcast game is scary because
it's dangerous business.
Yeah, because it's like, you're talking so much, and then for me, I am I'm a trash editor in a sense of like when I'm doing it, I'm not that bad at it, but it's just like I'm not consistent with editing at all. I don't have a passion for it. When I'm in it, I'm like, all right, cool. Like I'm gonna pick out this, but like, nah, man, you give me hours of footage I need to comb through I'm gonna procrastinate. You're not gonna get that clip until like sometimes a year. It's been a year I ain't released like a short film or something.
I don't blame you, dude. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's like it just takes a lot of mental energy for me.
It's a whole other job. It's a whole other thing.
Yeah, I feel like I got too much going on.
Because I mean, editing, you have to. For one, you have to know what you're doing to even start. You have to know like the basics of what you're working with.
Right.
And then just that, like just what you said, combing through footage. That alone takes forever.
Well, what software do you use?
Premiere.
I love Adobe Premiere.
Yeah.
That's my go-to as well.
I think what are the other ones even? There's Final Cut. Is that
like
one?
Final Cut Pro.
I think what else? DaVinci Resolve. I've heard of iMovie.
Yeah, I mean, you could even
CapCut.
Yeah, CapCut. You could even go basic. Go to Windows Movie Maker. I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah. Wait, I remember I did use Windows Movie Maker back in the day. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but when I think about it, like the first videos I've ever posted on the internet, I want to say it was like 2012, like 2011. I think so. Part of it's like drilled in my brain. Like I think I've just done it enough times where I don't even really think about it as a thing. I do dread editing when it's a lot though. I used to do like music videos and take a bunch of B-roll and film myself and do everything. And I could still do it. I know I could. It's just the editing is daunting when I think about the amount I'd have to do just to get it fully done.
You still release music videos like that?
I still release music all the time, but it's been a minute. What I'll do is I'll film like what I call mini music videos. I mean, they're basically it's perfect for like Reels and TikTok and
like
all this shit because it's like I pick a part of the song. It's like, I'm not writing the song for this, but there's always like, okay, that part I can cut that 30 seconds out, and then I'll just film 6 different takes of me rapping in 6 different places, cut that together. And then boom, now you have a mini music video.
Hey, it's something. You know what I mean?
But I haven't filmed a full music video in a while. But honestly, like, I should do it. As I say this, I'm like, damn, bro, I got to drop some.
That's something I want to do more is like try to write and build out concepts for music videos. I think.
Yeah, see, that's the hard part for me is I just do basic shit. Like, I just film a bunch of different takes. I don't really do any conceptual things. I just do it completely simple, which is, it's got its own appeal. Like visually, I know I can pick good things. I know what I'm doing, but also like it would be better to have a vision behind it. Like
yeah, I mean, at this point, I mean, like when it comes to like algorithm and how to get known and everything, like what you're doing is probably like the most efficient way to do it, because it's like the conceptual stuff is like that's cool, but like at a certain point, like yeah, you can do it and it stands out, or you can do it and it doesn't really.
The reason I do
it's really just for you at the end of the day, you know.
Yeah, but there's pros and cons. The reason I do it the way I do it is because it's replicable. Like it's the same thing as like the way the podcast works. The way that I film this, the way that we're recording this, I know for a fact I can just do another one, another one, another one, another one. It's something it's repeatable. Like this is the way that I film those. It's easy. I just get 6 different takes. I go through the takes. I'm always gonna get something.
Right.
Always, every single time, and I can do it within a day, and it takes no time at all. So I think that's another hurdle I'm thinking about. It's just the amount of logistics, but I think there is something to be said about like the quality of an idea. Like if you have a solid idea, that could be what stands out and really gets people to pay attention way more than the fact that I made something.
It could, but then it's like, then you set that expectation.
Exactly.
And now it's like, I got to keep doing that. So it's like, I feel like when you do something like that, it's good to know that like, or to know in yourself, like, I can do this again, or I can top this, or, you know, that kind of thing. But, you know, I feel like if you don't have like a stockpile of ideas like that yet, then maybe it is good to wait. It just depends on,
I don't know.
because maybe you get more funding one day and you could actually do the idea justice. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a couple different options.
I'll say for sure, me and Tim Perez are looking to shoot a music video for our song Confessionals.
Nice.
So if you got any good ideas for that, he was thinking like we could wear costumes like priests and like stuff like, because like the song is kind of.
I heard
that was the song I opened with.
Yeah, I think that was a good one. Yeah, that was a good one.
Put you in the trance. I'm the
y'all make good
psychedelic
music
messenger.
together. Yeah. I'm trying to. Yeah.
You know what's funny is I wrote that song like a year and a half ago. And
okay.
Tim, like when I met Tim, I was like, it just clicked in my brain. Like he's the man for that song. You know. Sometimes I'll sit on.
Tim is
songs.
amazing,
dude. Yes. Ruse and Tim Perez. You'll see plenty of that.
Y'all are great together.
Well, dude, that guy, he is a creative powerhouse. Like really? I think like. People like him remind me that like there's just some people who think differently, and I mean that in the best way possible.
Of course. He has a different way of doing things.
He has a different approach to even texting. Like the way he'll text me is very him. I'm like, hell
you
yeah,
can't mistake it for anybody else.
He's got his own thing.
He performed at my show. Like I gave him a guest spot at my show, The Kickback, which we're having another one April 26th, so come through. But and I was just like, he's just doing that like call and response thing with he has like the audio clip on his phone, and he like puts the mic up to it, and it's like everybody say hell yeah, and then it's like, bro, that whole thing, I was just like, this is so interesting to close the show with. Like, you can't. A lot of the comics don't really do experimental stuff as much. And if they do, it's kind of like gimmicky. Like with him, it's like it fits. It's funny. You know what I mean?
He's just an experimental person.
Yeah. But it's always like there's some there's a reason why he's doing it. It's not just experimental to be experimental. Like it creates another experience that's pretty interesting.
How long have you known him for?
Tim since like 23. I'm sure, of course, you know, like Andreas Merlos and Sean. So they did Coconut Cruise together, which is like the indie film, if anyone doesn't know.
The film of the summer.
The film of the summer, indie stoner film. So I met him on there. Yeah, because we had a scene where we play homeless people and crackheads and stuff like that. So
I gotta see this movie, dude.
Yeah, Tim Perez
I've heard
is one of the...
so much about it. So you and Tim are both homeless?
We are crackheads.
Okay.
I think we're homeless too.
That's implied.
Yeah. I believe because we were like, the scene starts like in a like abandoned garage type thing. Like, so and then we like Andreas and Sean are like looking for coconut cruise, which is like the weed they're looking for, and we come out and just start like roasting them for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And Tim was one of the my fellow crackhead brethren. So that's where I met him. Cool dude. We freestyled on set. It was dope. I was like, all right. Yeah,
I freestyled with Tim the first time I met him too.
Oh, really?
I did. I didn't realize, like, I didn't even really know he rapped like that because I saw him as a comedian the first time I met him.
So he introduced himself as a comedian, but like I almost feel like he's more of a rapper. I feel like that's his rapper persona even informs his comedy, it seems like.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Earlier, yeah.
Before we started recording, we were talking about rapper energy transforming into comedy energy.
Yeah,
yes.
Something with Deep End too is very supposed to be like a marriage or inspired by like, it's like comedy that's kind of inspired by hip hop or like kind of overlaps with hip hop and stuff like that.
In what way though?
A lot of like visual style, I think I take a lot from like older rappers. Like a lot of the flyers I do for my shows, I like them to look like album covers.
Well, I've seen like you do the thing with the brick wall and then the picture, right?
Yeah, like that's that was the kickback, you know, and then that's kind of has like a hip hop flair to it. When I first started doing shows, I would have rappers featured and poets and stuff like that, and most of my comedy shows have a DJ as well, and I just kind of like riff with the DJ sometimes. So you know, just kind of like having those because I find, and what I believe too, it seems like in 2025 in Chicago at least, I don't know if this is anywhere else, that people who are maybe like 25 to 35 are more interested in going to music shows than comedy shows. So usually that's where I see like that demographic at, is it the music shows and like So Far Sounds and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't see that demographic a lot at comedy shows.
And so like you like bridging the gap kind of.
Yeah, like trying to almost like, you know, give my comedy flyers and my pictures and videos like a style and a vibe of hip hop and music to attract people to different types of art forms that might have not been on their radar. That's at least been kind of like one of the core goals of mine with Deep End, because it's just like that stuff. To me, the art, the videos, the pictures, the flyers, that is all extremely important. Like not even just on a local scale, but like a national scale of people like understanding like what's going on within a certain artist scene within that city. Like I always like to think of like, if someone lived in LA, what would they think about, you know, my flyers and my video recaps and things like that? And same with, you know, any other place.
Yeah. Well, I always think that way when it comes to making like content, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's like on a universal scale. Like not just like, what if the people I know see this?
Exactly.
But what if somebody's stumbling upon this?
Exactly.
Sees this? Like, I mean, I used to always kind of start the podcast the exact same way, like have the guest introduce themselves and then and now I'll do it sometimes. Like it just depends. Literally, it's just rolling with whatever energy I've got that day, whatever they came in with. I've just learned that's the smoother way to go. Sometimes we're just talking and I just place the mics in front of us and we just go. Other times it's like I'll do the countdown, 3, 2, 1. But I'm always thinking like, I'll say like, so introduce yourself, they introduce themselves, and then I say, so if someone who doesn't know what you do, like if they're just seeing you for the first time, what are you going to say?
Right.
Because that's the best possible way they can introduce themselves.
Right.
You know? If I'm smart enough, that's what I'll say.
Yeah, I mean, you could go like I wrote down like some nice things to say about them before, like the comedian, the extraordinaire.
I almost think it's better to let them do it themselves, though, because they'll say anything. Sometimes they won't say what I expect them to say. Kat Diaz said, shout
out to Kat Diaz.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Yeah, she's awesome.
But she said she's a girl who tries to be funny and dress nice. I'm pretty sure that's what she said. She tries to do those two things, to dress nice and be funny. And I asked her how she's doing at those two things, and she said she's dressing great. The jokes, she's working on it. You know,
hey,
and that's a great exchange.
Whatever wins you have, you know. Yeah.
But that's, you know, I think that's the glory of letting them introduce themselves. You know, they might just say something crazy.
They come in whatever energy they have, Yeah.
My episode with Sean Shaw started with him telling me he lost his virginity watching Game of Thrones. I think that's how that episode starts.
I love it.
So there's a beauty to it, but it's like it's hard to know what's going to catch people's attention, like how to start things, how to get them to look at it.
And also, that was a very Sean Shaw thing to say,
dude.
I would have just loved to be a fly on the wall just to see, not the Game of Thrones, him losing his virginity, but just to see what. Like,
don't worry, you can be. It's on YouTube.
Oh, perfect. Oh man, his OnlyFans. That's all we got to do. $5.99 a month. No. Well, yeah.
Sean wants to come back on the show. I need to get him booked back on here. That man is a stream of consciousness if I've ever seen one.
I don't even understand sometimes. He's just like, like you said, a stream of consciousness. He's just like.
There's a few people I know like that. You know Mike Dwyer?
I don't think I know him.
Oh, on stage, that guy is 100%. He'll just flow, and it's like he's talking to you almost.
He's
it's
just like tapping into the cerebellum, just like.
And like Sean's kind of the same way.
Yeah,
Sean's kind of like Sean's got his notes. Sean will like pull from a thing, but it's still like very stream of consciousness-esque, and it's kind of like when you're talking to him. It's the same.
It's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. What are you?
He's an experience.
Yeah, he's an experience. Yeah, I want to see him on more sets in 2025.
Coconut Cruise 2, they tell me.
Yeah, so they're thinking about filming another one?
I think the script is being written. Last I had. I try to stay on top of this stuff.
Right. Okay, I'm like, all right, we're in first negotiations, we're locking down actors.
I want to be in the movie.
I love that.
Can we? I should ask them, like, hey, can you?
You should. I am like more than confident if they don't ask you first.
I haven't been to one of these screenings yet, though. I need to earn my street cred and make it to a screening.
They have another one. I think it's March 28th. So.
That's the next one? Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's March 28th, 2025. I think as this episode airs, it's already happened.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But hey,
Shout out to them, though.
Coconut
Cruise is cool. It's cool to see... like not just people making movies, but like comics making movies. It
needs to happen a lot more. Just like indie, because at least for me, like a lot of my favorite comics, a lot of my favorite creators, I'm someone who just maybe because I'm in the industry as well is I look at all their previous shit, like indie movies they've been in, like. Just little like one-off things. Like I look at all that, and to me, that's where I really find like the connection in my brain of like, oh wow, just watching this person's journey and their digital footprint, if you will, is really interesting to me. So yeah, I kind of think that's a good thing for any comic to make. It's like, all right, let me make something with all of the people that are kind of in my, stratosphere right now, and let's see if we can make something unique. Like those are the things you look back on, you know what I mean? Like the archive footage that everyone's studying years later, so.
Have you seen the Be Funny movie that's coming out now too? It's by Donovan Strong O'Donnell.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I haven't seen it, but I know what that is.
I'm pretty sure Harold Patrick's a big part of it. I know he has a role in it, but I don't know if he's like a main role or how it works. I didn't know he was even in it until I saw they just released the trailer.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah. I definitely saw that being advertised somewhere. Yeah.
Well, I know that Kelly McG has a podcast now called Coming Up Comic, and she had him on there.
Nice.
Maybe it was. I don't know. Shout out Kelly McG though.
Kelly McG,
another person that puts people on. Another person with their podcast. It's the whole idea. Is to
I'm gonna write her name down. Kelly McG. I think that's the first time I heard their name.
Oh, she's cool. Yeah. She's been on the show.
Nice. Yeah, man. For someone who isn't a comic yourself, like it seems like you have just like a lot of influence and.
I guess.
Yeah. Like it just seems like you know a lot of comics. Like I just thought you were a comedian when I heard of you, so I was like, okay. I'm like,
I know it's kind of odd to me because like I was saying to you, like people reach out to you and ask to be put on a show. Now I'm having people like comics reach out to me and ask to be on my podcast, and I just think like,
comics are whores. Comics are the biggest pick-me's. It's like they will even as soon as you have a show or something they could be on, they're like, yes, I need this. Like,
yeah, I think I'm a comic at heart, dude. Honestly, I have all those attributes. Like when they message me, I'm like, oh, me?
Yeah, I can say like, hey, this is a show. where you got to get down butt naked and give me your social security number, birth date, and my mother's maiden name.
Yeah.
And the show just came out 2 days ago, and I put a submission email out, and I get like 50 submissions. Like, I would love to be on this show.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, you guys don't have any shame. That's good, I think.
It's a little disturbing, but it's good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Yeah, I mean, they go for it. I love it.
They're go-getters unlike anybody else. I never really thought about that. So you could really, because I think, trying to remember, I'm like you just called me a comic. You said I had influence. I got to remember this guy's name now. I'm trying not to look it up.
Someone else that has influence.
He was just on the show. It was episode, I want to say, 140. I'm going to find, I'm not stalling.
Is it Charles?
Not Charles. Not Charles.
The Charles isn't a real person.
It was not John. It was not Jerry. It was not Tom. It was not Tim. It was not Mary. It was not Paul. It was not Carrie. It was not Kim.
Not Travis either.
It was not Travis. It was not Tommy. It was not Ollie. It was not Bobby. It was not your mommy. It was not Claire. It was...
You got it?
I have got it. It was Jason Melton.
Melton.
And I think I talked so long I forgot my original point. You know, I think I talked myself away from it. What was it we were just saying?
We're talking about how you have influence in the comedy scene.
Yeah, no, but before that, I was bringing him up because he
comics are whores.
Said comics are whores. Yes, he said like you can get incredibly talented people to just show up to do to just do nothing.
There's
like,
some people
you don't even have to pay them.
Exactly.
They'll just show up. And then my response to him was, "Yeah, I just did that right here, right now."
Right.
Just did.
Yeah, like he's like, "Yeah, I literally just found out you did something," and I'm like, "I want to be on it." And I think that's a good mentality. There's like literally comics that have been in the game like 20 years, and I put a show flyer out, and they're messaging me and stuff, and I'm like, "All right, cool. I mean, it's good to know that I can get you on something." Or
do you think though that that's changed throughout the time that you've produced? Like it wasn't like that originally though.
That is a very hard question because I don't know, maybe I'm just getting a little more known in the comedy scene.
That's what I'm saying.
I kind of started more like on the improv side of things, and I knew, well, like even when I started doing improv, I did stand-up comedy too here and there.
Yeah.
So like I did know some people like in both worlds, but yeah, more and more I'm kind of just starting to just kind of become an all-around entertainer. So I'm starting to know a lot more people in the stand-up world as well as the improv world. And so maybe that is a reason why if I put a call for a show out that, people will actually reach out.
But it's hard to tell because you're you.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I don't know if it's just like this looks interesting, or is it because like something that I'm doing particularly that makes it look interesting? I don't know.
I even think some of it's just like follower count. Like, is how many followers you have? Because sometimes people look at that and they're like, "Oh, yeah, 1,000."
Yeah, maybe. Like, what? No, I mean, followers been steadily growing. But yeah, I think when I first started doing comedy or any entertainment, it was probably like 500, 600.
Yeah,
it's like maybe like 1,400 now, but that's to me that's just like
it doesn't even really mean much.
Pan, I don't, but I guess maybe I have to think like, but that does mean that like you're getting known a little more, like person by person. You know what I mean? Like you have at least a reach of 1,000 people. Maybe that is a big deal.
Well, it plays a lot into everything when it comes to. What I was really surprised to hear. I mean, I should have guessed this. But it was, forgetting her name, but it was the daughter of the girl from Pulp Fiction. Mm-hmm. The girl from Pulp Fiction. Uma Thurman and...
or what's her name? Like Erica Hawk or something like that.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah. Maya Hawk. That's her
Maya
name.
Hawk. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, you got me, son.
Yeah.
Thank you. But yeah, Maya Hawk, she was saying on some interview somewhere that like she wanted to delete Instagram. She was thinking about doing that. And then someone was telling her, well, what you have to consider if you do that is the way that they're going to cast you for a movie is they're going to come up with an accumulative number of followers that these actors need to have, these lead actors. And so if you don't have any, because you don't have an Instagram, now you're not pulling any of your weight, and they're not less likely to cast you because you won't play into that number. So, like, that's how they cast movies.
Is because like they're casting influencers now, not actors, I guess. Yeah, that's crazy to me. I don't know.
But that's what I think. That's like if you're a producer, all you can really do. It's like we said before about what would you do? Like that's the only correct answer. It's like what would you do? You just fix it by booking people you believe in and not looking at follower counts first.
Yeah, I don't try to look at follower counts. Yeah,
you just want to create a good time for people.
Yeah, just try to think of like the overall vibe of the show, and if they, for one, I like to like pick people who will broaden my horizon in the sense of like, oh yeah, I haven't really like worked with this person before, or I haven't worked with anyone they know, so maybe this would be a good time to just reach out and just kind of like just get on their radar, they get on my radar, that kind of thing. But
yeah.
Follower count, I don't know if there's like a number. I don't associate a number with it. It's just more like
I catch my brain doing it and I hate it. Like I'll catch my brain thinking that way, and then I just know like I'm stupid. Like I'll get proved over and over again. Like this shit is the dumbest thing to
natural.
think about.
I mean, which is kind of weird. It's like
you can't help yourself.
Yeah, Instagram has become like, it used to just be like photos and shit. Now it's like this weird like social value thing. It's like, oh okay, it's like the first thing. It's like, how many Instagram followers do you have? Like,
I'll say like I met James Najjar. He was the first person I met when I was introduced into the comedy world. Kind of why I'm happy I waited so long after I moved here. I went to one open mic, and I met James, Tim Perez, Sean Shaw. Like I met all those guys all at once.
And this is a comedy open mic.
Just nearby here. And so that experience kind of happens all at once. And right after I went on stage and I just rapped real quick, I do 2 songs.
Oh, okay. So you at the open mics you go up, huh?
Oh yeah, dude. What I did was I stood on the stool. So I like put the stool there and I stood on top of it and I rapped on top of the stool looking down for like a whole song. Nice. Yeah. You saw live just the other day. I'm so proud of that. When I balanced that Taco Bell box on the top of my head.
Yeah.
I love doing shit like that, dude, because you catch people in a way they would never. And that really was I didn't know what I was doing. I just walked over there and I saw someone passing somebody sauce. And Tim said to me, he said, "Oh, hold it up." And so I went up to him and I put it on top of my head.
Balanced it for a while too.
Like a whole minute 30 seconds.
So at that point, I was like, they offered the Taco Bell at Tim's event, and I was just kind of like, no. But for some reason, when you put it on your head and then you start walking around, I'm like, man, I kind of want some Taco Bell. I was like, the advertising is working.
I was thinking like Taco Bell might be the type of company that I should reach out to them and send them this. Be like, hey, I can make this a thing.
Right.
I like balance your stuff on my head.
Right. It'll kind of be like, like when rappers do the money spread, it'd be like, you buy 2 12-packs, you just like.
And I rap while I do it. That's the trick.
Yeah, no, you should do that. That should be a thing. Like in music videos, it's like, yo, like all my niggas, we got 12 packs, and then after it's done,
I think I just have good balance because, like I told you, I rode the skateboard there. Like I think I just have good enough balance because I didn't think it was gonna stay on my head. I did not think it was gonna work, and then it did, man.
No, that's a clippable moment.
But anyway,
to have.
Yeah. And that's what I went for when I was introduced to all these people at the Glenwood open mic is where it was. I stood on top of that stool and it worked. It went great. It was very effective. I mean, dude, I consider open mics performances being me, dude. I can just go up there and give you a song and just blow. I've been told at Power Hour I blow minds, okay? Because what I do for Power Hour is I go wait. I let all the I'll let all the comics go.
I let all the comics go, so I go last so I don't embarrass them.
But I do wait. Like I have to go at least like 10th. But like if Power Hour, you gotta get there kind of early, and like 30 fucking people sometimes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'll write down shit the comics say throughout the whole show, and then I'll freestyle everything that they said as much as I can within my freestyle, and it just kills in that.
Nice.
Because you're basically just riffing off of the entire night. You're just saying.
I can see a lot of comics appreciating that, like just being like, okay, like this guy's on my radar. He's cool.
I think I just pull out magic tricks at these comedy shows.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's like okay, yeah.
Or at these open mics, I should say.
He got the writing, but also now that's that crowd work element too, like where he could kind of riff off the spot and everything like that.
I kind of wanna it's cool to hear you say that you're trying to blend rap and comedy because I think that's what I'm falling into naturally anyway.
It's a good space to be, I think.
Yeah. It's I think that there is a natural blend that happens there for so many reasons. I mean, I think I was saying to you right before we started here, like about the wordplay and the fact that it's about Did I say that to you, or was that when I was talking to Nikki B about how rap is about wordplay in the same way that comedy is about wordplay, and it's about
it's wordplay.
Yeah,
It's like timing. It's really a lot of timing. I feel like with comedy,
there's so many elements. It's like it's about the audience and making the audience think in a way, like getting them to get something out of what you're saying rather than just talking at them. Like a good rap song should get you to think, in my opinion.
Right.
It should
like
provoke you.
What are the right words to convey or take the audience where I want them to go? You know?
It's all about conveying your vision and taking them where you want to go.
Yeah.
Not somewhere else, and not miscommunicating and not being able to get them there, you know?
Yeah.
And like it's so dependent on your individual translation of your thoughts. Like it's so dependent on that. And so I think that entire world, and I think it's more like hip hop. It's more the way that people would think of like hip hop rather than rap, because rap's kind of I don't think all hip hop and rap. It's all like it's 10 million different genres now. It's not all one thing.
A particular thing.
But there is like a certain thing to be said for lyricism, like and that playing into comedy. Like I think that a good, well-written rap song, especially with like punches, like solid punchlines, and like and a rhyme scheme that builds to punches and shit like that. Like a comedian sees what you're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who's So, like, who are you inspired by, like, rap-wise?
I mean, people that I like a lot, I would say, like, I like Chance the Rapper a lot. I like Mac Miller a lot. Kendrick's my favorite rapper of all time.
Right.
Eminem I listen to a lot. I mean, I'm naming, like, all the big ones. But there's all kinds of rappers. I mean, really just anybody who's like saying things thoughtfully. Ab-Soul is somebody who
I love Ab-Soul.
Ab-Soul, and he doesn't even write shit down, which is crazy. He says he hasn't written anything down since like 2012, I think.
So I'm starting to hear a lot of rappers don't write these days, technically, in the sense of like they just more like they'll have like riffs, and then they just kind of like in the studio they'll decide which riff is best for this particular song. It's not like, oh, I hear the beat, now I'm gonna write like a fucking soliloquy and shit. It's like, nope, I just got a couple rhymes I'm thinking of.
I think that was Lil Wayne always.
Yeah.
And that's why he gets the criticism he gets now, because like people say, oh, he reads his lyrics live. Yeah, because he never wrote them in the first place.
Right.
Imagine having to remember 10 million things you said over the last 20 years, and you didn't write any of them down ever.
Well,
it'd be kind of hard.
The issue is like, I think why a lot of rappers are doing that now is because you're gonna have to edit anyway. Like, if you come with this perfect written thing to this beat, like you're gonna eventually be like, I think I should do something else. Let me scratch this out.
Like, I never edit. I never edit.
Interesting.
Never.
Interesting.
Maybe like rarely like a word or two in an entire song.
Gotcha. You're meticulous, huh?
Oh yeah.
Gotcha. You, like, I know exactly what I want.
It's a gift and a curse, because like I'll obsess over 2 sentences for 20 minutes.
And they have to fit. Yeah. I think some people are like, I don't want to do that. I'm just gonna like figure it out when I get there. Sometimes that's how I am with comedy. I'm not gonna lie.
I think of it like it's a puzzle, like a challenge. I know that there's something there. That's what I'm always thinking. Like I know it's there. I just have to find it. Like there's a combination of words that is exactly what I need right now.
Do you feel like sometimes that comes to you better when you're in the studio, actually, or?
Well, this is the studio.
Right. Oh, right. Yeah. No, that's a good point.
The difference is that I'm recording. I've been recording in my bedroom the whole time. Yeah. I actually would hate if I had to go somewhere to record. I would hate that, because it would become such a process.
That does help for where you perform to be your like room.
Even a podcast. Like, thank God I don't have to rent a room out and do all these things. Like, I can just set it up in the corner.
That's good. You're saving thousands of dollars.
I know. But at the same time, of course, there's hours and hours of practice that go into doing that. But I would say that no, I am lucky in that I can write almost always, unless I have like tons of shit in the background. I just can't even focus. I usually can write something pretty quickly. Like that rap I wrote for the intro of that show we just did, I wrote that within a day. Like I just wrote that the day before, and what I did was what I usually do with one like that is it's like a puzzle. I just write down everybody's names, everything I have to mention. You would have been in there if your name was on the poster. I would have mentioned you in my rap.
Oh yeah. I was actually, I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of looking like, I was like, oh shit, is he gonna say my name?
You would have been mentioned.
Like, dang.
You just missed it. There would have been a deep end. There would have been a Laz.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Deep end's easy. Like I could have easily we hopping off the deep end. Like there's a million
that's
things.
kind of why I like the name, because it's like there's just so many ways you could flip it and so many meanings you can derive from it.
Mm-hmm. When this show ends, watch the credits. Now that's a deep end.
Right there you go. All right, well, so I'm gonna get you on the official deep end song.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that'll be cool having Root. I'm gonna get Roos, and I'm gonna get Tim Perez to do the official song for Deep End. I'm gonna probably say some ad libs here and there.
I'm down.
I'm in the background yelling and shit.
What is your vision for the theme song? Do you have like a vision already?
If I had a theme song, I don't know, man. Just
is it like playing at
like,
every show? Is that the idea? You're playing it every.
I was thinking like playing at every show, or like playing in the back of like every sketch, or like when the sketch is over, it like goes into the Deep End song or something like that.
Deep End.
Yeah, something. Maybe we wouldn't go wicked, and we're deep in. No, like I don't know, just something like, for some reason, have you heard Mick Jenkins Understood? Mm-mm. Listen to that song. For some reason, I imagine it being somewhat like that, like just like a cool, like, just like, I don't know, just the Deep End is supposed to be kind of like more of a relaxed thing, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like a place where we could be ourselves, let our hair down.
Like almost like a jazzy hip hop type of thing.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, like just smooth, like easy listening type of thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
like I'm very inspired by. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, welcome to Deep End, just a smooth like ride.
I'm very inspired by like jazz rap and stuff like that too, and like just certain like neo soul samples and stuff like that, like over rap music. So that's kind of what I would imagine Deep End being like. Yeah, if it were to have a sound.
Yeah. Okay. We need to get me, you, and Tim. We'll get on a group chat. We'll schedule this. We'll make this happen, because I want to. Ruse needs to get in this theme song game. Okay, I don't even have a theme song for the show, just because I like to roll right into it. So that's what I do.
I think a theme song for this show would be awesome.
It would be, but I don't like the idea of like clogging up the first 20 seconds with the. I don't need that.
I got you.
Just watch us talk. I think it's actually kind of cool to click a podcast and they're just talking.
Just goes.
Like, do we really have to spend the first 20, 30?
We don't have to, but I'm someone who is very like I like to peacock, for lack of a better term. So it's like, let's get that theme song in there. Let's get the best visuals, and let's do this. Let's try to do this. Let's try to work a skit into the podcast. And then that's where I go all the time. So
I do like that. See, like, I think the problem is like, you can take it too far, and that's why I try not to even go that direction too much. Like I
have taken it too far. That's why I'm.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
Yeah,
because like you'll get to the point where it's like everything's got to have an idea, and everything's got to be planned
like a
out
or something.
Yeah, and like sometimes it's just barely doing anything that's actually the smartest move.
Really though, and then but me, I'm like, no, but we need like how people gonna find out about us if we don't.
Yeah,
these
in the intro, we need to be breakdancing.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm amazed that you didn't realize.
We need to have dancers, and then we need to have theater actors who know Shakespeare reciting the lyrics, and like it's just I love to like just like layer shit on top of each other, and that's usually why I'm like, I have to be like, you know what, it doesn't have to be that convoluted, Laz. Like, let's just do.
Laz, you have 3 days. We don't have time to do all this.
I'm like, nope. Let's do this and have all these callbacks. It's just sometimes I gotta.
But you're ambitious, though.
I'm ambitious. I think that's the issue.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's like, what is the simple, most easiest way to?
What is replicable?
What is replicable where you can keep doing it. You set an expectation that isn't too hard for you to top, that kind of thing. That's right now, that's kind of where my mind is with everything.
Yeah.
Besides just being unique,
So with like hip hop though, I don't even understand how You told me that you're music adjacent is what you told me when I asked you about your
relationship.
So
you're that's funny. You were like, do you do music? And I was just like, no, but I'm kind of like music adjacent, meaning like, so I grew up in a family of like musicians, like all my uncles and stuff like that are musicians. My brother, he made music. Both of my brothers made music and rapped and stuff like that. Like, for majority of my life growing up. So literally I'm after school and my brother is like listening to like a beat on loop, like the same beat on loop for like 2 days. And it's just like,
I've been there.
Yeah. So I just kind of understand that kind of world, you know what I mean? So a lot of my ideas, you know, come from hip hop concepts and themes and conceptual albums and things like that. Like I like that kind of stuff. But I'm a comedian. That's what I decided to be. So I just kind of like to bring that flavor over into whatever I'm doing, really.
I see.
But I don't know. Maybe
you're like the opposite of me.
Yeah, right. Honestly, right? Yeah, isn't that funny? It's almost like we're one and the same.
Right. You combine us when you get the one.
Yeah, exactly. What is it? Lose? No, I don't like that.
One of us is yin and one of us is yang.
Exactly.
We'll call it that.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's funny too because at Tim's event, like you said that, and then one of Tim's friends was like, "Hey man, I think you're doing such a great thing with your music." And I was like, "I got music out there." Like, keep going, man. Those beats were hot, and I'm just like, "Okay, I guess." I actually walked away. I'm like, maybe I do need to make a beat or something. Like, I think he just manifested that for me. Like, maybe I should get in the studio. Maybe I should stop doing this comedy stuff.
Who knows, dude? You could be the best rapper of all time.
I could, but it's like I feel like it's a lot of effort, or I don't even want to say effort, but it's just like I figure if I were to ever get into music, I would probably start DJing for one, because I do eventually see myself being a DJ, but I feel like I need to make a lot more money first. Like let me make money with this one thing right now, and then I could kind of have a little more time maybe, or like have a little more like energy I could put into something else, because like trying to do that right now, I'm like that's just gonna be a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, dude.
Like rapper, comedian. Extraordinaire. I even used to dance. And he dances and he produces and he does this and he knows how to cook and that's a lot.
There's no such thing as like a bandwidth. You know, like a human has so much bandwidth. Exactly. And if you can't be the guy that has 10 things that he does, you just can't be that guy. He doesn't exist. You could probably do like 5 things at most would be my guess. Like if you really wanted to push it to the limit, maybe it's 5. Because I mean, I'm doing podcast, music, and then a day job. So, like, if I were to throw comedy in there, that's stretching it.
Yeah.
And then you throw another
that's how
one.
I feel about music, to where it's like, I could do that, but I'm going to be like, because then now I have to go to the music open mics and get a part of the community and try to find time that way.
And you can feel it eating away at the other thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, you could do 5 things, but most likely there's going to be maybe 1, maybe 2 things you're going to be known for doing exceptionally well. Yeah. Like that's what people are going to come for. And then they're going to be like, okay, like I know these other things too. Like, like Childish Gambino, like I think for a minute it was like his comedy and his acting for a moment was something because community,
and then he had that stand-up special. It was all around the same time.
But I think he eventually was like, I think I want to be mostly known for music, and then I think a lot of people know Childish Gambino now for music.
I don't know though, because Atlanta kind of reinvented him too. I was just gonna say, and for Atlanta, but I almost feel like Atlanta is a Childish Gambino show more than a Donald Glover show. You know what I mean? Like it kind of. That show fits with the Childish Gambino persona a little more. That's a good point.
Like it, there's a whole bunch of things with like how that show got created. It was originally from like his connections and stuff for writing 30 Rock in the Community, and then he kind of pivoted it into a show. But I definitely feel like he's kind of more touching on the music industry with Atlanta than anything else.
Yeah, he's another person that's like so spread out though in industries, and like to me it's such a lesson, like because I naturally want to do that, and you can just see how that would it benefits you in weird ways. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like he would have never predicted his career as what it is now.
I'm sure if you ask him, he has some thoughts on like if he should have did it this way, or if there's a way,
or like just when you were writing because of the internet, could you ever have imagined that you were gonna end up making Atlanta? What's the answer to that?
I do wonder. Like,
I have a feeling he probably had Atlanta in the back of his head for a while.
Yeah.
And then he also collaborates with his brother too. So I feel like it's for like anything he makes, I think his brother is a writer as well.
Oh, that's cool.
So, you know, it's like sometimes having that person to bounce stuff off of and so you don't have to do everything is helpful too, you know.
I mean, that's one of the keys to success, in my opinion. You need to
Yeah.
find a circle somehow.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
people who are totally similar to you, I think. Like,
Yeah,
you need-
like consistent collaborators. that
Yeah.
They're like, this is the vision, this is the direction we're going in. Whatever you can't handle, you know, the other person will either handle that part or find someone else that can, like, versus just like it all being on you. It's very hard to do 5 things if it's all on you, you know.
Yeah, oh my God. What, Charles can be an actor, comedian,
Writer, I guess.
musician, writer. I think that's it. There might be another one though.
I'm sure he likes skateboards or something. I don't know. Like,
Some random we're not.
So
remembering.
yeah, I'm sure he does something else as well. But you know, it's hard. You know, I'm sure. I think he's like directed things too, and I don't.
Oh, he was just on that. It was on some streaming service show too. Now I think about it, he did do another show recently. It was based on the Mr. and Mrs. Smith movie.
Oh yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I heard it was good.
I saw a clip of it, and I didn't even know what it was. And then later, I realized that's what it was.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think it's like directed by the director he worked with on Atlanta and written by him and his brother as well. So I think it's. Just
I didn't know he was that involved in it.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's pretty much like that's his show. You know what I mean? Kind of like how Atlanta was his show. You know.
That makes me feel differently because when I wasn't that interested just because I'm thinking, do we really? Has everything's an adaptation, bro? Like, we have to redo this? But if that's true, I trust him.
Yeah.
I do trust him.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Was Mr. and Mrs. Smith like based on like any?
Well, the original movie was Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie.
Well, I know the original movie, but
was that
like,
based on anything?
Yeah, was that based on anything?
I don't think so.
Oh, so that was literally
maybe it
just-
was based on something though. Maybe it was like some short from the '60s or something.
I mean, and even then, it's like if he just saw that movie and was like, "Let me just take this name and do whatever I want with it," like. I don't hate that.
I think it's the
just
same
kinda
idea,
more-
though. I think they're both secret agents that
Right.
are like in love, but also I don't know because in the
But
movie,
it seems like he's going a different direction with it.
Maybe
than
it's
the movie
different.
completely.
yeah,
like,
it's got to be different.
yeah.
Okay, Childish Gambino, I trust you. Okay.
Yeah, man. If you have money, I'm trying to follow my dreams too.
Are you casting anytime
Right.
soon? I mean, you got anything you're working on?
I'm also like you. Right? I'm also trying to follow my dreams.
Oh, but I mean, yeah, dude. How do you like find that when you're blending rap and comedy with these shows, do you find that is a natural? Like, do you think it works well? How do you usually? Because you said before that you'll have music and comedy at your shows.
Yeah, I think it works well.
Because I feel like music and comedy is kind of an interesting mix.
It is, but sometimes it doesn't always work as well as you want it to.
Exactly.
It really has to be like curated, like really well.
Meaning,
like the rapper or entertainer you should make sure they're on the same energy as the comedians.
right?
And the comedians can be on the same energy with the rappers. And if they're on different energies, find a way to transition them well. You know what I mean? Because like the first shows I did, it was like, I would have like improv on there, stand up, sketch, and sometimes it would be like, all right, as well as rappers and stuff like that. So I would be like, okay, let's do comedian and then let's do improv and then let's end it off with a rapper. So it could kind of be like the end of, like how sometimes on like Tonight shows and stuff like that they have like a music act at the end to kind of wrap the night up. Like you kind of got to think of it like that. It's like if you put the music act like in front of one of the comedians or one of the people that are on the show on like one of the Tonight shows, it might be a little weird. Like, so they usually put it on the end. So,
Yeah.
You kind of got to think of stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
like what's the best order for these acts to be represented in the best way?
I was thinking like you would want to have the music last because you would rather make them think and then feel than make them feel and then think.
Yeah, right. Because like the music relaxes them and gets them out of their head.
Yeah.
Like, coming back to a comedian, that might be like, I'm already, my edible kicked in. But I don't know. Tim Perez made it work at his last show.
I think it just depends. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
cool. I think his audience is ready for that.
That's what I was about to say.
Mm-hmm.
He created the type of environment, like he curated the type of environment that would have wanted that to be.
So, and that's where I find trouble because like my audience is a little more.
I imagine you'd get a comedy oriented audience.
Yeah,
usually.
yeah, a little more comedy oriented and a little more like, what is this, or like randoms. Like there's a couple randoms I attract to my show. Versus Tim, it seems like it's very much like underground. If you know, like.
But he's just getting started too.
It
could develop its own type of thing.
You think Tim will ever go like, I don't want to say mainstream, but like more accessible in a way? I feel like one of his things is that he's in a niche, and that's like what makes him special in the sense of like, oh, I want to see Tim do this, like not just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I feel like it's very much like a particular brand of something.
I don't think he would change much. I think it's impossible for him because that's literally who he is.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think that's what we need. That's why I like associating with that scene, because it's like people rock with the underground shit. Like if you go to Laugh Factory or wherever, like, people are laughing, doing their thing, but I'm sure at some point someone's gonna like look at you and be like, where do I find the real comics at? Where do I find the real movers and shakers? Like, I just want that shit to where like, we're going to a place that we probably shouldn't even be using as a event venue. Like, so, like where's the warehouse raves and the parties and the, you know what I mean? Like, where's that
the hole
shit?
in the wall?
Yeah, like come on, where's that shit, man? Like I love that vibe. Like, and I always try to like add some of that vibe to my shows, but someone like Tim, he's deep in it. He's there, like,
Yeah, I think it's an extension of who he is, and I think it's like I think it was Tony Angelos, the realtor, who said this to me on our show. He said,
"You had a realtor on here."
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. You
Trying to get more of those
you're in
guys.
the community, like.
Dude, I want realtors on here.
Financial advisors and shit.
He was not what I expected. Let me just say, I was like thinking, I'm gonna have to be a little professional for this one. He just comes in here talking about,
you know how many deals that I like, you know how many apartments I sold in my life.
I'm like, bro, put that out. He's ashing on the arm,
Right. Just like, that's what's wrong with y'all. Y'all pussy these days.
Like, whoa, man.
What's wrong with this new generation?
But anyway, he was saying your vibe is your tribe. And I thought that was that's a fun way to put it, because you attract those people with the vibe that you put out.
That's real, man.
Yeah.
That's real. And that's why it's really strong to have a vibe or to have a signature, because yeah, man, if you build it, they'll come. You put that signal out there, someone's radar is going to pick it up and be like, I'm here, And those are my favorite shows. The ones that are like pointed. They're about something. They have a specific idea that they're trying to hit towards. Mostly more than just like a touristy, anybody can enjoy this type thing. Like
kind of how a lot of shows are gimmicky in such a way.
Yeah, like gimmicky. Like they're just trying to be like a smaller version of something like SNL or something bigger you see. Like I like when someone has a take on something, like this is the comedy show, but we're doing it a little differently than everything else, or we have some music acts in between. Maybe we have some poets. Like I like stuff like that.
Yeah, but it has to be executed properly.
And it has to be executed properly.
It's very easy to fail, like you're saying. Like the curation is kind of the hard part.
It could really be not good.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
especially like poetry and comedy, you gotta be careful with that. Like if you're just having like slam poetry or something, you gotta be careful.
Right. Somebody like saying they fears and they, leaking their heart out, and then I just try to say some jokes afterwards. Like, let's lighten the mood. Like somebody talking about them getting abused at 5, and I'm just kind of like, yeah, so that was crazy, right? Like, nah. I've done some music and poetry open mics where, that's the case. It's like, I go after someone pouring their heart out and stuff about dating. And I'm just like
turn up.
Right, yeah. Let's get that energy back up. Come on. Like, nah, man.
That's wild, man. See, I'm glad that I'm having this conversation with you because I've been trying to find more people who produce shows that I can ask the right questions to kind of figure out what I need, what I'm getting myself into. And you in particular are doing rap and comedy anyway, because I was thinking
like
that might be a smart way to go. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I'll just do music and comedy because I'm already getting in that area. Like you said, I seem to know people. I seem to have influence, whatever that is.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't mean that doesn't mean it. But yeah, I get you. Yeah,
But no,
I mean,
but like people know who I am is what I'm saying. If I
Right.
reach out to 5 comics, I could probably book a show. I could probably do it.
You probably could.
But
yeah.
I just need to know, like, so
And it would
someone
be
told me
better.
it's getting a venue, and then what you're saying about, I think it is like very smart to have an actual hook, like have a reason for people to want to be there.
Yeah, have a hook. Yeah, that's a good way to put it in music terms.
Yeah, right, for real.
But yeah, like have something where it's like, yeah, this is a comedy show, but it's my flavor on it or my style of it, and
And for you, it's hip hop.
yeah, hip hop, and just having like a more like loose like environment or crowd. Like someone came to one of my shows and they told me like, I feel like I could have took out a joint at any point in that show and it would have been cool. And I feel like you all are just like me. Like I feel like it's like a relatable energy in the room. And that's kind of where I like to bring it, where it's like, okay, like this is something that anyone can kind of enjoy. This is a celebration. This is a party. It's not just I'm going to a show, watch it, and then leave. It's like it's interactive. It's the comics and everyone. You could talk to them, and we could have a moment together. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think music sometimes provides that vibe. It's not always music. Sometimes comedy can do that alone. Sometimes music can do that alone. But that's usually the goal for every one of my shows. It's like, how can I make this like not just a show, but like a full-on experience to where people are like, I can't wait to go to the next one of that. Or I literally went in there feeling bad, and now I feel better after coming from this event. That's kind of where I wanna hit.
Like a hang almost. Like that was just a good hang.
Yeah.
That's a good goal to have. That's smart, dude. That's a really smart approach. I think, again, like you are like me in that. That's probably what I would go for. Is that I don't think
it's
there's
not like a wholly original idea. I just put my own visuals and flavor on it or whatever, but
well, just in
you'll
that
put your aesthetic on it.
And in just making it a thing where people are comfortable though, like where people are just. I mean, that's my whole idea with this show is like people will say before they come on, they'll be like, "Oh, what should I expect?" And I never know what I'm supposed to fucking tell them because this is what you should expect. Like, I'm just gonna talk to you. That's all it's gonna be.
Right.
It's not anything. You shouldn't expect anything. What I've come up with is it's a conversational type of show. I say it's conversational and it's just meant to highlight the side of you that people might not get to usually see. That's a fun way to put it.
I think like the casual vibe too. It's not like we studio lights are like just all in our face and like some corporate ass like
I like your corporate face.
Hello, Laz. What do you have in the future? Like, tell us about all your, it's not robotic. So
yeah,
I think that's,
but all of that's on accident. That's why it's hard to describe like what it is. And I think it's a good approach to a show. Is just kind of let the vibe kind of find itself and just kind of
you just got to put the pieces there.
Yeah,
yeah.
You got to put the pieces there and then play it out cool. Like don't don't overthink it. Don't stress out in the moment. Like just have a good time. Like enjoy the show.
The vibe will find itself.
Yeah, and it's always that's what I love about. Even open mics, you could go to the same open mic once a week, and it's different every week. Like comedy is naturally that in a pronounced way, in a bigger, exaggerated way than other art forms because it's so dependent on whatever is in that room in particular. You know,
everything has potential to be made into material. Every person can there could be a person in the back that's drunk and yell something out. And
that's a running motif for the whole night.
Whole show. So, comedy. It's like you got to use everything you got, basically. Writing, visual, audience members, aesthetic. It's just everything is up for grabs in comedy. So
if you're smart, you'll find ways to use things. Yeah, like you will utilize the environment somehow. I think with all the beef between comedy and improv, the one thing all comedians can learn from improv people is like that presence, that awareness.
Yeah. No, I mean, coming from the improv world, I definitely feel like it gave me a little bit of an advantage just
because it's kind of the basics. It's
you
the
learn the
very basics.
Yeah, so by the time I actually really committed to stand-up, I didn't have as much of a problem with stage presence and things like that because I kind of already fleshed out my on-stage character in improv, which, you know, I used to think I want to do more character-based stuff, but I find that my strength is just in, like, being a realistic character in, like, an absurd environment.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I do my comedy, like, or my stand-up, to where it's like, I'm just a normal guy, but I'll take you through the scenario that's like kind of crazy or kind of like weird, and then my reactions to it are just a normal person. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I like to do it. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, if you see me do comedy, so like you kind of get what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
Like, you know, and like the jokes I told that day about my neighbor and my apartment, that's all true. Like, motherfuckers are weird in that apartment, and I'll just be a normal person walking, and someone just like tries to like get me into something, or like the couple upstairs, like sometimes they'll try to like vent to me about their relationship, and I'm just kind of like, all right, like,
Yeah.
that's crazy, man. Like,
Yeah. That's all you really can do, right? Is nod, just smile and nod.
yeah, it's very much that type of
My
humor.
problem is I am like, it's a gift and a curse. It's the reason I can do this right here. Because I'm good at asking questions and getting to the deeper point of something, but I'll do that with people I should not be talking to. I should be getting out of that conversation. But instead, I'll be like, oh, really?
That's crazy.
Why
How
do
did that
you...
really... Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I'm the same way.
And I'm like, why am I doing this to myself?
I think that's why people do it, because it's like, I just ask questions like, you know, like, I don't know, why did you do that? Like, or like,
I should just be smiling and nodding.
Right, but I'll be like, oh, okay, did that, like, make you feel good? I guess. I don't know. And I'm like genuinely like, just like, I don't know, like, is there a reason why you did that? And they're like, I don't know, man. That's a good question.
It's a good question, bro. And
these are really just basic questions. Like, I'm just covering the bases. Like, why did you do that? What compelled you to do that? Like, did this happen in the past before? Or like,
I don't know. I think like there is a real genius to asking basic questions. Like, I actually think it's not that hard to like get people to open up. It's actually not. You just,
Really?
because I don't think I ask. I think I ask like, maybe I'll ask thoughtful questions, but I don't think of them as thoughtful. I just think, what would I
literally
ask?
something to understand like the context of what's going on.
Yeah.
And then they're like, huh.
Like, you know, somebody will say like, oh, you know, I've liked comedy since this point in my life. I really like this person. I'll be like, oh, you like them because of this. And I'll be like, oh my God,
I didn't even think about that.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Something I do in the past. is
Random
like,
observations of mine.
something I've done is kind of like, like let's say someone tells me their life story, and then they're just like, yeah, I do this, you know, because I'm scared that this will happen. And I'll just be like, has that happened to you in the past or something like that?
And then the memories come flooding
like,
back.
well, actually, yeah, when I was 5, I was like, oh, okay.
I think we should be therapists.
Yeah, someone has told me, like, maybe you should did that instead of comedy.
I've made the joke that this podcast is an audition for my therapy. Like, I'm going to be a therapist one day, and this is my audition. The amount of shit I can get people to say, dude.
Has anyone ever like opened up to you on this show?
I've had people say like, "Oh, you got to cut that part right there."
Really? Dang.
And they're like, "Oh, I probably shouldn't have said that."
Dang.
I've had people say like, Jason Melton yet again at the end. He broke the record. It was Emily Ogle. She did 4 hours, and then he broke the record in 4 hours 10 minutes.
How long do you usually try to make the?
However long. I mean, I think a minimum of an hour is good. If you got to go under that, who cares?
Yeah.
But like, really, however long. Sometimes you feel it kind of naturally getting there. Like, oh, okay, we're probably done right about now. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you feel that, but other times it's like, I can just keep going.
Yeah, some people are strict with like the 45 minutes to an hour thing, but I always appreciate the longer.
I like long ones.
Yeah,
that's what I listen to.
Yeah, pause. No,
I like big fat long ones.
I love girthy podcasts.
But for real, like it's the I feel like you get you get a different type of thing. Like, so when you cap it at 45 minutes an hour, you can miss a lot. Whereas if I don't have an expectation going in, sometimes it will just be that. Sometimes it just naturally occurs to be that. But say I don't tell you anything about how long it might be, and then you get 4 hours with Emily Ogle.
Yeah, you don't want to set any hard expectations.
It's like that thing I was saying earlier about like how doing as little as possible might be the best thing.
Right.
Like, don't even tell them how long it might. If someone asks me how long it typically is, I'll say like an hour or more. Like that's what I would say. But like it doesn't really. It's a podcast. There's no rules.
Yeah, I usually say about 6 inches. No,
Really? I thought it was 10. Like, who have I been talking to?
Hey, no. The thing is, it's like I feel like with art, sometimes you kind of gotta like let the vibe kind of take it to where it is. Like,
yeah.
Because if you're trying to be like, oh, I need to get an hour podcast no longer than no less, then it's kind of like it might be like there's not a lot of room to experiment with that.
Well, that's always been my approach. Like when I started doing those interviews, that's what made me keep doing. Is I realized the fact that I'm not overdoing it. I'm not trying to I'm not showing up and being all formal and making it like shaking your hand and making it all formal. I'm just treating you like I would treat anybody else. That gets people to act natural in front of a camera because I'm not even thinking about doing that. I'm just doing it.
Right.
But it is a thing that's happening. And then all of a sudden they're comfortable and they're talking on a podcast for 3 hours. And that's what I was going to say. Jason Melton at the very end of the 4 hours, he was like, yeah, I said some stuff on here I probably should not have said on camera.
He really opened up. He was just like, yeah, man, when I was 6, like...
But like,
my mom told me I wasn't going to be shit.
I think it's that looseness. I think you have to be just loose enough to where like, you don't... I think people get an idea of what they need something to be, or they get nervous and they have anxiety or whatever the fuck it is, and then they kind of lose sight of the plot. And really, it's like a good podcast shouldn't be much at all. A good interview, like Nardwar, he said he's so great as an interviewer because he's a natural. He's not putting on a thing. He's just that's what he would be doing. Same thing with Sean Evans with Hot Ones. He's just good at asking questions to people.
Sean Evans is definitely like one of the top interviewers like of our time.
He's a natural.
He's just a natural at it.
He's one of my goals for this show. I feel like I'm pretty sure he does not live far from here. Like I think it's a
he's
possibility.
from Chicago. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. He'll just be like, so earlier on your Instagram, you said that and then the person's always like extremely impressed by like, wow, you really did the research?
What I learned when I was doing those interviews, and maybe it was just because it was people who like hadn't been interviewed for the most part, they would always be so surprised by simple things. Like you don't have to look up that much. You just look up a couple videos of them talking about things, and you think, okay, what interests me about that? Like, what do I think? I think it was Sean Evans actually that said this in an interview once. He said like one thing he'll do for his questions is he'll watch someone talking in an interview and he'll look for like the expressions on their face and like the things that they wanted to keep talking about, but maybe the other person kind of changed the subject.
Yeah, see what they're excited about.
Yeah. And then he'll find ways to dig into those things. So like the person's already kind of primed to talk about it because he knows they want to talk about it.
That's like a pretty good like tip for conversation in general.
Isn't
like,
it?
Yeah, it's like, keep to what people are excited to talk about. I think that's like, I try not to ask like, oh yeah, so like, how's your day going? I'd be like, anything new coming up? Anything new? You know what I mean? Yeah, because usually people are gonna tap into the more positive part of their brain when you say anything new versus like, how are you? Like, are you doing all right? And like, actually, or they're gonna be so superficial and be like, I'm fine. How are you? You know, like versus anything new, you gotta be like, I gotta think about shit. I gotta say shit. Like, so.
That's a good one. Like, what do you got going on?
What do you got going on? Yeah. That kind of thing.
Because it's like open-ended enough to where they're going to... And I think like the magic of a good conversation is like keeping those avenues open, like keeping it moving in some direction. Like I look at it like it's almost like you're pursuing some type of like higher truth, but neither of you are like committing 100% to it. Like that's the best conversation is where you're both going upwards, but you don't know where you're going.
No, that's real. Yeah, like that's a good way to put it. Like in a good conversation, there is some type of like truth that's found. like in a sense of like, oh man, I never thought of it like that.
Between you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like you both establish like a different level of understanding that you didn't have.
But I can't do that if I don't ask you like what's on your mind.
Yeah.
Because then you'll give a piece and then I can give a piece.
I'm just gonna say I've been
yeah.
I've been eating vegetables, like that kind
Oh,
of
what
thing.
vegetables have you been eating? Yeah, there we go.
Man, no, I can talk about fruits and vegetables. Like I'm like, yeah, man, I really enjoy cucumbers, man. That's my favorite vegetable. That is my favorite vegetable.
Is it?
Cucumbers.
Mine is broccoli.
Broccoli.
I'm surprised that cucumbers is yours. I feel like cucumbers is an underrated vegetable.
Yeah, because it's like it's hydrating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like I put it in the same like categories like watermelon or melon. It's
Right. I never thought of that.
It's juicy,
Juicy on the inside. Now tell me,
Yeah.
with those juicy ones, do you like the big ones or the short ones? The long ones, the tall ones,
yeah,
the thick
the girthy ones.
I do actually like a girthy cucumber.
A girthy cucumber, you cannot go wrong with a girthy cucumber. I used to work at a deli too, where we like made juices, cucumbers. Man, that would just add so much to the juices.
Really?
Yeah, man. Cucumber water is great.
Oh,
Yeah.
Isn't cucumber water a thing in like Japan or China?
I'm sure it's probably been like spread to a few different cultures. It's
I
like
thought
pretty
I
simple
saw
concept.
like it was China, and they would put cucumbers in the water tank and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've seen people do that. I don't know. Did China start that? I don't know. Like,
I don't know.
yeah, I could do
Shout
some
out to the
research.
Chinese people.
Hey,
you know.
shout out to y'all.
Just give them credit. I guess.
Y'all gonna be up in a minute.
Yeah. Give them like 2 years.
Let me not start that.
I ought to just like put what is it, Xi Jinping? Like I'll get a poster of him for the pod. I'll just preemptively put it
yeah,
right
man.
there.
We bleed red in here, man.
See how people react.
Yeah, man. We straight commies in here, man.
That would be a great bit to commit to, though. Just like always, like I tell them I'm basically part of the CCP.
Right.
I don't really talk about it much, but since they asked,
The means of production go to the worker. Bitch.
I wish I was born in China. I could, dude. That's just a fun idea, like being an undercover Chinese person, like as me.
Well, why is that something are you aspiring to be that?
I know. I'm just thinking like, it's a fun concept, Like if that was like deep down, like if you got to the bottom of it, I was actually like a secret double agent, and I worked for China, and I was just like talking to these comedians.
Undercover as an Asian person, or
No. I'm saying
You're
that
saying,
China
like,
hired
right now-
me. They're outsourcing, is what I'm
got
saying.
you like, and you put on white person face to you're like, like
I'm their white representative.
Gotcha.
And they're
gotcha.
paying me.
Hey
Yeah.
man, you're doing a good impersonation of a white person.
Thanks, dude. I've got a lot of practice.
When you told me you were from Michigan, I did not question it. I wasn't like, is he really from China?
That's why China pays me the big
I
bucks.
see.
The big yens.
One of the best character actors. He can really dive into every character.
There was a video I saw of like a white guy I think it was a white guy that lived in China, and they were asking him questions, and he was saying like, no, I'm born here. Like I was born here. My parents, he was saying he was a Chinese citizen, but they were like treating him like he was a white dude, but he was Chinese. And that must be so confusing for him.
He wasn't, I know you got like, his nationality was Chinese.
I think he had 2 white parents in China.
But his ethnicity was, got you. I think that's it, right?
Yes, his ethnicity, his race would be white, but his nationality would be Chinese.
Gotcha, right.
Yeah.
Okay. I wouldn't really, I don't understand from his perspective why he would be shocked that someone would be like, you're not Chinese.
I don't think it's like being shocked. It's probably just like some annoying shit to deal with.
I see.
Like it's probably, I can't remember what the video was exactly. I think
no one told your parents to move up. No.
Yeah, right.
Oh man, I'm white in China, and people are like, why do I look like this? It's like, hey man, it's like most people don't look like you. Like,
Yeah. It's hard to forget that like America is one of the only places where most people like you actually
are
have.
like from completely different cultures.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in the same country. Yeah.
You go to Africa, you stick out. Like I stick out. You don't stick out.
Yeah. I mean, well, in Africa, there's a lot of white people in Africa.
I'm always. No, Africa, really? I thought I was. Is it like that?
in a lot of areas in Africa.
I did not
it's
know
like,
that. It must be regional then. There has to be a
it's
regional.
definitely regional. I mean, if you want to get into it, I mean,
just wonder. I actually
the
wonder.
Berlin Conference and everything, you know, of 1885. But, you know, we'll get into that. But yeah, basically, like, you know, there's a lot.
Gotta love those Europeans, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of areas in Africa that basically, like, Europe was like, nah, this is kind of like, you know, like our people will kind of like do commerce through here and like, you know, commute through here and. You know, so there's certain regions in Africa where, yeah, you got, like, high population of Europeans.
Oh, because we colonize.
Yeah. But, you know, hey.
History
I don't know
is
what else
what
to say.
Well, I mean, that's how you get America. It's all the same. Like, you have a bunch of Europeans expanding and taking shit, and then we get the world we're in now. Yeah,
it's
just
like,
the truth of
this
it.
place, we're going to take resources and kind of get our goods and stuff from here, and we're going to come here when we want a vacation and shit.
What's interesting about it is, like, if you look back at it, like, what was happening is they just decided they were the civilized ones. Like, those people are savages, and we're civilized. We're actually doing them a favor by doing this. That was the mentality.
Yeah, civilization was the ultimate goal, and we have to civilize other nations and other
I didn't
people.
even know until recently that Japan was one of, like, the last places. It was an they were themselves for a long time until we basically, like, said, listen, you guys can't be doing this anymore.
Yeah.
We're gonna destroy you. Our weapons are better than yours. Like, you need to acclimate to this new world that you're in.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean...
They were trying to just chill. They were trying to vibe over there in Japan,
well,
just be
and
themselves.
that's kind of like the thing of, like, you know, Europe and, like, the kind of things and the savagery and the violence and the colonization that happened in Europe eventually kind of resulted in, like, one... political figure that kind of encapsulated all of that, and then everyone in Europe kind of realized that they were fucked. Like, once we got to that point, it was too late. It was like, oh shit, like, damn it, like we probably shouldn't have been okay with this type of violence happening to anyone.
That's how you get there. That's how you get there.
Yeah, that's usually how you get there. It's like a bunch of ignored things that, like, you know, the general populace want to act like it's not there. Like, you know. Like, you know, there's, like, a completely, like, brutal and, like, inhumane side to whatever society that you're kind of a part of. And usually people annoy it till there's usually, like, a political candidate that's kind of like, you know, let's do this. Let's double down. Like, I like that side. And then it's like,
well, and I think it's so hard to understand the moment you're in relativity to what it might look like in the future. Like, in the 30s, Germany didn't know that's what it was going to look like.
Yeah, until it happened, then it's like, fuck.
And, like, you didn't even know at the moment. Like, you didn't realize it was going to be like that. Like, I'm sure plenty of German people were, like, not even entirely informed. Like, one thing I heard just recently is, like, when Hitler spoke to the public, he wasn't speaking like, let's exterminate all these people.
Right.
He was appealing to their thoughts, which is like, hey, we've been getting screwed over for far too long.
But that's how you get them first. Where
exactly.
It's like you get them on the ideological tip first.
Yes.
And then it's like, you know.
And then you can convince, and it's so hard.
Convince them to do anything after that. Yeah.
And those people do feel wrong, so they're, like, swayed by that argument. And that's what's so hard to understand is, like, you could be put in that same position if the circumstances were different. If you were in this crazy situation where, like people feel that way with America's involvement overseas with plenty of shit. Like, oh my God, why are we doing any of this?
And then we're just kind of like, I don't know.
And we're just doing it. Yeah.
You know, and that's usually how it is. It's like, you know, kind of keep the populace distracted, desperate, unstable, you know what I mean, like in survival mode. And then you can kind of start introducing wacky ideas that they'll either be like yes to or be like, I'm complacent, I'm indifferent, so it's gonna have like the bystander effect, so I'm not gonna say anything or do anything about that.
I think that's a lot of it. I think most people don't even wanna do any of that, and so they just try to go about their daily lives. And that's why you'd see like you're actually kind of a crazy person if you invest yourself in politics or you invest yourself in this stuff, because you end up spending so much of your time stressing yourself out over things that are ultimately, a lot of it's beyond your individual control. Yeah. Like, you can only invest so much into that. And so I think a lot of people, they're actually more realistic for just backing off, just reading an article title and scrolling and just going about their day.
I would like to challenge that a little bit in the sense of, like, I agree. That's what most people do. But like, there is an individual power that we all have.
Oh, I agree with you.
Yeah, people just have to know it's usually like somewhere like locally or somewhere like where they don't think the power is versus like we kind of think we probably like have more power in like this whole like presidential like political theater thing. Like we're more invested in that when not to say don't be invested in that, but
Yeah,
it's
but
like
the local things you can do.
yeah,
are
there's
different.
a lot more things you have probably more power on over that more control over that you can invest that energy into. Like not to say you just because you don't invest certain energy into something doesn't mean that you don't care about it. So like I think it's if people care about the political or the presidential election, that makes sense, but there's also like other things that you could directly impact.
Right. And I think that's like what you're saying about distraction and the theatrical aspect of it.
Yeah.
That's the true shame. Is like I think you kind of take people away from real change when you trick them into arguing over topics that aren't. It's designed to be something that's dividing.
We're talking in circles about it. Besides, like actually being like, oh no, here are actions we could take, and things we agree on that are actionable. Like most people have like 80% of the world is religious. Like,
Is that true?
Yeah.
Wow, 80%.
Most people are religious.
Wow.
We had like I mean in some way or another. I'm not saying we all are part of the same religion, and then most religions like core values for the most part are the same.
I would
like,
agree with that.
So
yeah.
it's like
at least the idea that a religion exists to make you think more of yourself as a part of a greater whole.
exactly. There's a greater moral value to reach, and you have to reach that like within your lifetime. And there's things you can do to get you to reach like a heaven or a higher consciousness, and then there's things you could do to knock you off and then like make you in like a negative like consciousness or like hell per se. Most religions kind of follow that basic,
And it's usually like a metaphysical representation of good and evil
Exactly.
in some type of way. They interpret it differently.
So it's like there's probably a lot of agreement and overlap within people with their religions in these conversations, but
Yeah.
if we could just focus on things that don't have like a immediate like agreeing point or like a actionable point, then we were just distracted all day arguing about culture and aesthetic and things like that, versus actual issues.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of like the art of the deal, isn't it? It's compromise. It's
art of the
finding
deal.
somewhere in the middle. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, any good salesman would tell you it's figuring out what you want and then trying to figure out how that aligns with what I want, and then how can we work together.
No, that's
to get
real.
there.
Yeah, finding out like what the pain point is, what the need point is, and then like creating that bridge. That's really what you have to do in any situation where there's like
If you want to get somewhere.
if you want to get somewhere, and that if you're trying to make it like in a certain industry, be a community organizer, any relationship, a friendship, a marriage, like anything is going to be that give and take. But I think we kind of look at it like, oh, this is my big issue and nothing else matters. And if you don't agree with my view on this big issue, then that's it. There's no reason to have the conversation. It's like, that's not really how things work in anything.
Wouldn't that be nice, though?
Wouldn't that be nice?
That'd be great.
Like,
Everything was just a certain way, and there wasn't ever any debate on it.
on
and it's
anything, yeah.
all one way. I would actually be okay with that if everything was just binary. Actually, I
I think
wouldn't.
most people would like look at it like everything, and then that's the thing too. It's like most people look at everything like black and white. Like, and I don't even mean like race or anything, but just like
No, I know
most
exactly
people
what you
don't,
mean.
like-
They look at it in a binary way.
Yes.
I think I read a book about Zen Buddhism. It was like my foray into book reading. That was where it all began. Was that
first book? I got you.
It was a kick-ass book, and like
no Captain Underpants Buddhism, right?
And
Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Nah,
fuck that. I don't give a damn
I wanna
about
read
Roger.
the metaphysical.
Yeah. Put you in a trance. We the psychedelic messenger.
I want to line my chakras. What you talking about?
But anyway, the book was saying how like the idea, one big thing that they believed with Zen Buddhism was like the idea that logic and separating and like this versus that whole thing that humans are able to do is what takes us out of the present moment and takes us other places, that constant comparison. And that's why they tell you to separate yourself from every prior concept, to separate yourself from every word, every language, and just think of things as they are. Think of things beyond words. And like sometimes I'll look at my dog and I'll think like, imagine that. Imagine him, but he's not my dog and he's not Oscar. He's just a soul, like a thing that exists.
Like don't think about, like I know, in Buddhism it's pretty much like most of your pain points, or like every pain point is usually like imagination.
Yeah.
You kind of have to separate your imagination and your manifestation of how things are from like what things actually are. I always think that's interesting, and that's kind of what I try to do too, of like not really trying to understand things in such a linear way, or like such a,
because there is no black or white. That's
always
the case.
Things that happen, and you kind of just like, oh, okay, like you usually find yourself in situations you don't like. Most people don't know what they're doing. They just, something happens in their life, and then they either go in survival mode or some other type of mode, like or fight or flight, and and then they make decisions based off of that, and then they're at the next step, and then soon you'll find a pattern in most of your steps to where it's like, okay, this is kind of like my identity, I guess. This is what I do. This is who I am. This, and then that's a whole other thing. So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. I'm trying to think of a line I said in a song once. How you going to tell me you know, I don't even know me, let alone. Something about like, how you going to tell me that you know me well? I don't even know me, let alone no one else.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Like, we're all just floating souls out here, man. Like, our identity is mostly based off of like life experiences and things like that.
And you need to have like a loose evaluation of yourself. Like, you need to like be confident in what you are, but at the same time, like be able to look at that from the outside in a way.
Yeah.
Kind of have the perspective of that.
And it's like, you're never going to have a full perspective of
it's
who
impossible.
you are. And because everyone sees you in a different way as well. So it's like someone like, if you like have kids one day, they're going to see you completely different than like we're seeing each other in the situation. So it's like two different definitions of yourself right there. Like two polar opposite definitions.
But that's that same idea. It's like you shouldn't think of yourself as a comedian or a rapper or anything. You're a million things. You just happen to be that one thing, you know? And like, I think when you define yourself too much, you get in this trap of like, I can only do this, or like...
Yeah, even in comedy, it's like, it's not really like, it's just like, I think I just have naturally, since a kid, like had a big personality, and comedy is just like something I found myself understanding a little more than like I might have understood other art forms.
I mean, you never became a rapper, so
right. But that could have been something that I'm like, oh, like let me just do this. But comedy just kind of was something I didn't have to think that hard about, or it kind of came a lot more natural than some of the other things.
Which is again like that loose interpretation. It's like you're looking at yourself and you're thinking like, what communicates the most to me? You know?
Right, exactly.
Because you have to figure that out. And I think everybody's got something. That's what I really subscribe to that. Like, it's actually a shame if you don't have some type of craft or some type of thing that you do. Like, it just seems like a weird life to live as someone like myself, who I've always done music as long as I can remember. I've written songs, I've written things, I've created things. I can't imagine not having an outlet like that.
A lot of people don't.
Even a journal, even if you don't want to
or something, right. And that's kind of, I do think about that a lot too, like, because there's a lot of people who, don't create. Like, they're fine with not creating. They're like, I'm going to go to school, I'm going to get this job, and I'm just going to be at this corporate job or whatever, public servant, whatever. And a lot of those jobs, depending on, I mean, some of them, they might have like some type of creative problem solving that might be someone's outlet for that part of themselves. But sometimes I wonder, like, how does one go about creating, like the every average day like person? Like, is there someone who's okay with not doing anything like that? You know,
there definitely is. There's gotta be. This has to. And to me,
and are they like hurting because of that, or is it like
that's what I was gonna say. I don't think they could be happy. I just don't think there's a way.
So you feel like
you need some type of outlet.
You gotta have something. Yeah,
like creating could be as simple as talking. It could even be as simple as like
Right.
having someone that you talk with every day, and that's
Right.
like your form of creating and getting your thoughts out. Like I talk to my dad every day on the phone for an hour. Like that could be your version of creating something. It could be
Right.
literally, but just like the idea of no outlet at all.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
which I think a lot of people are going through that. I think
Oh,
that's-
yeah.
I think this is how a lot of people suffer with like depression and stuff because they just don't have any like sense of expressing themselves.
Yeah, I think that's how some people find their way to comedy. Is actually
Real
that
talk,
story.
though. Real
Is like
talk.
they find themselves
Yeah.
in a hole and then they find their way out of it through comedy.
Yeah, I think for me, I just always felt like really weird. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just felt like I'm like an alien or something. Like, I'm like, you know, like some people, you know, and sometimes you just know you're just different. Like, and not even in a good way. You just like, something in my soul just don't fit with some certain people or like
Yeah.
just in this normal kind of, this is how we're supposed to do things. It's like,
I've always felt that way. I was just lucky
Yeah.
enough to have a talent.
yeah, you know.
I can sell myself to you, you know?
Right. Now I'm the same way, and it's like I think yeah, it's like that weirdness or like that feeling weird that I feel like there's just so many people that are drawn into art because of that. Because it's just like that feels like the only way. Like I would have personally, like when I was younger, I would have preferred to be like normal or whatever. I always felt like it was more, that was the more like rewarding direction, like for people. Like, okay, you know, if you're normal, you know, you can talk to girls and they don't look at you strange. You're about average intelligence and you can work within a school system so people don't try to like roast your life all the time. Like, you know, like, yeah,
If you're normal.
you got friends, you got, you know, like it seems you can make money. Like, I'm like, okay, yeah, like being normal seems like that's what it's about. Being weird is like motherfuckers bully you and like
Yeah.
all the girls are like what you know, so it's just like you say stupid shit and like, you know, it's just all that stuff. I deal with that now and I've dealt with that growing up like so much. I think now I just like have gotten to the point where I just have to accept it. Like sometimes if I'm talking and I get comfortable enough, I'm just like no filter. I'm just kind of like, yeah, man. Just first thing that comes in my head, and then like I used to be like, why did I say that? But like now I'm like, yeah, bro, this is me. I don't know what you thought this was, but it's like turn back if you're not into it. But we're going like
Your vibe is your tribe.
Yeah,
And I think
yeah.
by putting that weird out there, I think you get the right people.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like I'll come up with ideas and stuff, and then like people will, like sometimes I'll be in that like just creation. To me, yeah, it's like for me that's my creation mode, and I'm just like talking and joking, and I'm free, and I'm not really thinking about like what I'm saying as much. Like a lot of times people will come back to me like, man, you said something kind of interesting that stuck with me, like. Like, and I'm just like, hey, bro, I was just in that like stream of consciousness mode. That's like that's a different mode to be in for me. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had that same thing where people, I mean, I mentioned it earlier where people will like bring up something I said on a show or somebody else. I think my sister said like some random, I say dumb shit, dude. Like I don't,
too.
I think I'm funnier than I realize I am. This is why I think I might actually,
I think
I'm
you'll do a good job.
keeping my comedy away from people. Maybe I should bring it to the stage.
Go ahead, man. I'm out. Hey,
I think I'm like a genius idiot. I think I'm one of those people.
I'm just
who-
saying, yeah, I hear you.
I
Yeah,
say
I'm the
things
same
that
way.
are
Yeah.
just stupid enough.
I'm either like the dumbest smart person or the smartest dumb person or like something like, or I'm just like, I think maybe God just like maxed out my sliders and some things and then like literally it's like 0 at others. Like I couldn't get a 1 or a 2 or something. Like give me some type of skill. Like it's like, nah, son.
Yeah.
Make these jokes.
I mean, hey man, it's at least you figured it out. At least you found it. Like I can write a rap bar like no other, but I will not. This is one thing I haven't admitted on a microphone before.
Here we
I'll
go. We're
admit it
getting into
here.
the good stuff.
This one's embarrassing. This one's
Oh.
actually like I can't even believe this. So I think until I was like 6 or 7 years old, maybe even 8 years old. I don't know the number. It could have been 10 for all I know. I didn't realize you had to put like the toilet seat down. And so I would put both seats up and I would sit directly on the bowl, dude. Like,
dang, man. Would you squat? Like, how did that happen?
I balanced somehow. I don't even remember. That's
funny as hell. That's cold too.
That's how
man.
you know I'm stupid.
You were just like, what is this for? No thought in your mind. I was just like, maybe I'm supposed to sit on this part. You were just like, no, this is. What did you think? Did you think that was for anything, or
I didn't even consider it, man?
Just like it's just a second lid. That's all.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, right. It's just more getting in between me, my cheeks, and this cold rim
that I do not fit on top of.
Right.
No human does.
Like sometimes it's 2 wrappers on the candy bar. You got to take the second wrapper off, and then it's like
I was probably sitting so wide,
Yeah,
like,
I know. I'm like, man, your core strength must be insane. Like
I started when I was 3 years old, man.
Dang.
And my mom, I told my mom this recently, and she was like, "I potty trained you. Like that's crazy."
She's just crying, like I don't understand where I went wrong. Like, I thought
She looked at me so bewildered, like she couldn't believe that was true. But I mean, like. That's what I'm saying. I didn't even realize. Like, I think I just do dumb shit. I didn't even know how dumb it is until later.
I'm the same way,
when I
though.
look back on it.
I'm sure there's a lot of things like I have like that. I know there's like countless things to where I'm just like, and then some of them you don't even realize too. It's like, man, like I'm a grown man. I
can't tie my shoes. I tie my shoes. They come untied about 80% of the time.
Dang. Did no one just ever teach you, or?
I taught myself. But I think someone taught me once. Like, they were being nice. They taught me, and I still, like, to this day, I tie them, and they tie, but they always come untied.
I wonder, I have terrible handwriting.
Ooh, yeah. See, that one's common, though. That one's pretty common.
Yeah, and I misspell a lot of words, like, if I'm writing them on paper. I might know how to spell them, but for some reason, I just, like, my brain will, like, skip a letter or
That's
something.
interesting to me, because there's people I've met that I, like, consider them, like, they're smart, and they can't spell. Like, and so I don't even know if that's, like, a mark of intelligence.
That's why I don't even understand this shit, man. Like, some things I do feel like, I feel like I'm smarter than the average bear in putting certain concepts together, but also I can't write for shit. Like, what is that? Like,
there's this book I read. I'm in like the middle of it. I've been in the middle for forever now, called Emotional Intelligence. And in the book, I think there's a dude named Howard Gardner, and he did this thing, and I want to say it was Harvard, but he, in like the 60s or 70s, he was saying that the way that we do IQ tests and the way that we do intelligence testing isn't really representative of the actual intelligence of people.
It's not. Yeah.
And that there's actually multiple intelligences, and I think he listed like 5 or 6 of them.
I think,
and it would be like math. So math would be one.
Right.
Athletics. So like your ability to use your body is one. Gardening was one of them. Artistic. So like aesthetic intelligence. Scientific intelligence, and then I think there's one more, but religious intelligence, or
like philosophical.
Yeah, philosophical. I think metaphysical.
I think that's kind of where I'm at, like philosophical intelligence.
That's where I think I think I trick comedians into getting philosophical by being the way I am.
Yeah, man, I didn't expect to get philosophical today. We're talking about like Nazi Germany and shit. I'm like, all right, okay, we're going in this direction. I never thought my thoughts on this would be asked by someone. And it's just more like, I like to really like zoom out on certain topics and be like, okay, essentially like what are the core elements of this situation? And then just kind of like touch on those. And like, I feel like sometimes, you hear a lot of people talking about like religion, politics, and art, and they're very like lost in the inertia and lost in the sauce a little bit with all these topics. But it's like, really, if you zoom out, there's like only really like 2 things we're essentially talking about here. And that's kind of like where I feel like my strength is to being able to kind of zoom out on a bigger issue and be like, well, this is like the core of, what is connecting with people.
Which that probably helps a lot in comedy.
It does. Because it's like, even when you're writing a joke, it's like, some people are like, every word needs to be planned out. And then I have this big like soliloquy I'm writing, but it's like, I think of it like, what is essentially what I'm talking about, and how essentially do I get to this next point, and how essentially, like that kind of thing, like versus like, Of course, there might be some word variation, but I have the most important thing is I have a pathway to connect my thoughts, not over explain my thoughts, or like every single thought I have doesn't have to be entertained. It's like if you're writing a paper, it's like it's really about how well can I connect these ideas, not how much can I write about or explain these ideas.
Right.
You know?
Keep it simple, stupid.
Keep it simple, stupid. That's how it is. Just keep it simple. I think most people might overcomplicate shit when it comes to art and writing, but it's just like, what are you trying to say?
I think that my writing got a little better when I started to think about songs thematically rather than literally. So I'll think about like, what is the entire theme that this is representing? Because that's actually in a book I read over there called Writing Screenplays That Sell by Michael Hogg. He was talking about like how when you're writing a movie script, that's one of the things you do. You write it, you think about a theme of the
and
script.
then that'll inform the story a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Like, what are you trying to communicate to the audience? And then that could tell you how to get there.
And it's different than the plot. It's different than the characters. It's different than the moral. It's the theme. The theme might be love.
Exactly.
The theme might be fear.
That's where I start with all my writing as well. I think some people would do it the opposite way, and that's fine. Or some people are able to like write all those things down simultaneously, like at one time. I don't know. I find it hard for me to do that. Like, I have to start with like, what is even the point of I'm trying to say here? Or, that's where I'm at with everything.
I'm in like the middle. Like sometimes I'll get it all at once. Like I'll come up with like a good hook. Like for a song, I mean, like an actual hook, and then that'll be it. Like that's the concept. But a lot of the time, it's just like I'll write the first couple lines, and the song kind of figures itself out, and then that's what this is, and then go from there.
Gotcha.
That's usually the case. It's almost like I'm freestyling, but I'm capturing a freestyle.
Right. So it's almost like you might find some things that you want to say, or like some puzzle pieces where it's like, oh, this line is interesting. And then you kind of almost work backwards. It's kind of like what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, oh, okay, like I have this line, and this line has been sticking in my head for some reason. I think this is what it means. Now, can I match other things to? What like,
there's a song that I remember I heard the beat, and the first thing that popped in my mind was practically magic. I did it just for practice. I push what I preach. A pity to put it past this.
Right.
And then just go from there. And the song's called Practically, and the whole idea is it's a song about like how if you just get into, and this is, even then it's not quite about this, but like the hook goes, every level is malevolent, fucking dude, it's been forever since I performed this song.
No worries.
Hold you down for the benefit, nonetheless it's irrelevant, cause the bold die precious, the message is in the method, something like that.
And you wrote that whole song from the first bar? That's where...
That's where it all starts.
Oh, okay, cool.
But the message is in the method, and it starts with practically magic. I did it just for practice. So it's almost like saying like the magic is in the process of doing the thing. That's where you figure it out, and you shouldn't put like restraints on it. You should just let that process flow. I write songs very philosophically. It's just this is awesome. The way my brain is designed.
You have like a reason for it, and you could like measure out like, or like find the actual layers of what you want to say.
And if you wanted to look at that thematically, you could say that song is about the theme of like striving upwards or like progress. Like that could be the theme of, you could pick a theme, and like it's a good way to think, because it's like, say someone's picking your song for a soundtrack. What are they gonna feel when they hear this? What are they gonna feel?
And a lot of times when people pick soundtracks, it goes like the feeling they get, and the theme of the song goes with whatever the movie or so. Yeah. It's like, and that's really essentially what's matching up. Like what we're, when you're doing art, you're just trying to match those things that fit, those themes, those like, so
I'm sure a lot of comedy is trying to get to the end. Like I've seen it go both ways, where somebody will have a great like end of a joke and they want to find a way to make it work. But I've also seen it the other way, where it's like, oh, I have this great concept, but I have no idea where I'm going.
Sometimes
with
you
it.
just have a great feeling that you want to convey. Like, man, I want to just tell like this type of story that makes people think this. And like, sometimes you're like, you don't even have like the slightest like bit of what you want that to be like.
I want to make somebody's mama cry.
Yeah, like just for some reason that'll come to your head and be like, yeah, man, I just want to make somebody cry with the story. And I want to make them cry specifically about like this, like, or I want them to specifically have this feeling, like, and that's why they're crying. And sometimes, yeah, you just start off with the feeling and then you're like, okay, why does that interest me? Why do I want to do that?
That's interesting.
And then you kind of get deeper. It's like, did I have an experience like that? And then you're like, oh, I did. This happened. Okay. And then it's like, all right, is there anything I can write from that? You know, and then that's kind of at least where I find myself a lot.
I mean, I think it's like what you said about going deeper into things. I like to, for one, when people say like it's not that deep, I always think like, it's as deep as you want it to be.
Right.
Everything is.
Everything.
I mean, anything can get to a certain level of depth, but also like there's a value in asking like who, what, when, where, why questions.
Exactly.
Even to yourself though. Like even like you just said, like when you think that, ask yourself, why do I think that? And then you get to a deeper level.
And that's with anything.
Yeah.
That's literally with anything.
That's really smart, dude.
Because there's just so much that you don't really understand about.
With songwriting, that's valuable too.
Yeah.
Because say I want to write a song about something. Well, then I would say, well, why does that matter to me? Well, what am I trying to say with this?
And then something more you can do is once you already have like a few songs out, a few pieces of art out, you're like, what is the commonality between all these things I've created? There's
and that's
something in here that attracts me about these types of things.
That's what I was getting at with like through doing the interviews, I realized what it was.
Exactly.
That's what it was. I realized, oh, this is like a community thing.
Right. There's something that's connected to the music and the interviews that interest you.
Yeah.
The main two things that I've known you for is like, okay, Ruse does music, Ruse does interviews. So there's something about those two that is like that goes to the core of your identity or what you're trying to convey.
And I think that goes for you too, though. Like the fact that you do the hip hop and you do the music and you want to incorporate both of those things. You put those things on the face of it. That goes to what matters to you and what you're trying to convey.
Right.
You know? And I think like we're both doing the same kind of thing in that like. I think through doing that, through being so true to yourself, you create that authentic, real environment that you're trying to create because people recognize that from the outside in.
And then in a deeper aspect, maybe that can make you be yourself finally, or feel like yourself, or feel like you fit in somewhere, or like, you know.
Because we're both actually secretly crazy people.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like, oh, maybe this whole thing was just so little Ruse or little Laz could fit in with some friends. Like, that's just how everything in life is. And that's why I think art is great, just because it kind of like, it can be like this very long journey to understand yourself by putting things out there. Yeah. And like, because basically like when you put art out there, you're just putting like a little piece of your psyche and you're like, does this make sense to you? And then some people are like, oh my God, I've been waiting to feel that. Oh yeah, like you get it, da 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 da. And then it's like, all right, perfect. So I'm not alone. Like I'm not crazy. So yeah.
Yeah. Yes, dude. For real. I mean, I think that like it's so easy. My problem is no matter how many times I have a good experience and I'll convince myself it's gonna go bad. Like I'm gonna fail to represent myself properly. Right. This is not going to be.
I think about that all the time.
And then that never happens. Yeah. And it's just so silly that I still play this game with myself all the time. Like I'm still thinking like they're gonna finally figure out I'm a loser.
Yeah, real talk, man. You got it. Yeah, you said it. Like, oh man, like this is gonna be the moment where it all comes tumbling down, and people are like, "You aren't cool. Like, you aren't a real artist." Didn't you used to piss the bed too? Like, just like they just know shit about you.
I bet you didn't even know what a toilet seat was.
You don't know what a toilet seat is, do you? I knew this guy was a fucking idiot. Come on, guys.
And I'm just waiting for the moment, dude. But I mean, like, you know, I think it's all a trick that you play on yourself. And it's so easy to see, like, in retrospect, like, I'm sure when I'm on my deathbed one day, hopefully if we get there and I live long enough to do that, I'm sitting there thinking like I'm not sitting there thinking like, oh my God, like I was so afraid to embarrass myself in front of people. I didn't do anything.
Right.
Because that's what it tricks you into do. You're so afraid of looking like an
Right.
idiot that you just don't
You gotta
even
remember what you did. Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's always what I have to keep in my mind too. Of
people like you for when you looked like an idiot.
Exactly. And that's sometimes we think that's the worst part of ourselves, but that's when people are like mostly attracted to us, is when we're vulnerable, but we're like figuring it out.
Yeah.
That's where people are kind of like, oh, that's when people get those thoughts like, oh, I wish I was like that, or I like that part about this person that is overcoming obstacles. Like, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Like people relate more to that than like, oh, everything's chill as a cucumber all the time. People are like, oh no, I've seen this person struggle and how they've put themselves back together again. That's what I connect with.
Yeah.
But we think it's all like the performance and all like, oh, I'm so cool. That's what like how's this person when things aren't cool is what, you know, resilience, things like that, you know.
Yeah. And like you become something else through that resilience, you know. I think like it builds a shell, you know, and you figure things out that you never would have figured out without that, you know. You kind of have to throw yourself into a fire to a certain extent.
Yeah, man, failing as well is one of the things that I try to find the courage to do. Is like, in a world where they tell you can't fail, I try to be like, all right, you just got to go and do it. Like, but sometimes if you feel like you're going to fail, or we convince ourselves that we're already going to fail, so even if we do something, we don't put 100% into it. It's like, I don't want to get too invested in this. I'm going to just like phone it in. Versus like, I have to teach myself like, even if you think you might fail, like just never phone it in. Like, you know, that's just the thing I got to commit to. Like,
yeah. I mean, I think that 100% commitment, yeah, it's like selling yourself as well as an audience. Like you're kind of putting that whole, it's like the whole fake it till you make it thing.
Right.
Like if you don't actually think that, if you don't actually think that you're capable of doing it, you just won't do it.
It's hard. Yeah. That's the hardest part of comedy too, because sometimes it's like,
you'll trick yourself into failing.
Yeah, you'll trick yourself into failing. Yeah, it's literally like comedy works the most when you're confident. Like,
yeah.
Period.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, it's like I've seen it so many times where I'm like almost the exact same delivery, the exact same joke. The room is stale, but if you come in there like, no, this is what I'm gonna do, and I'm not gonna short sell it at all. Like I'm not gonna, like, if there's a joke I want to tell and I know that it has a funny punchline or there's something in here, I have to tell it to that punchline with the same energy I gave the show the before this. Like you can't be like, oh, all right, well, it doesn't seem like they're getting it, so I'm just gonna move on. Like, nah, you got to be like, nope, we are on this road together. We are going to get to this punchline, and once we're there, whatever. But if y'all laugh or don't, whatever. But I'm not gonna cut pieces out of this journey to get us to where we need to go. You know, that's the hardest. To me, that is the hardest part about comedy, stand-up comedy.
Is the commitment to that?
Yeah, you have to commit to your bit. You have to commit to your joke,
regardless of what, like regardless of because it can't be entirely irregardless of like the circumstances matter.
So basically, like I'm saying, like you got your jokes, you got what you want to say,
but say like the room's kind of dead.
Exactly. You can't be like, I don't think I want to say this now.
One thing I've noticed a lot of comics do, you tell me, like, 'cause I feel like from the outside looking in, I'm just always thinking, you don't have to do that. Is they'll say like, do you guys like dark jokes? Like, are we a dark crowd?
Right.
It's like, do you have to say that?
You don't really have to say that. Yeah, that's that person kind of scared that they're gonna.
Exactly. It makes it seem like they're worried about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna do that, you got to just do it. Like,
and most of the time, they're gonna be cool with it anyway.
If you were cool with it,
it's
exactly.
the sell.
You know,
exactly. Yes.
To me, that is the number one hardest part about stand-up comedy. Is like selling yourself in a way to where it's like you're convincing the audience that like, no, I've been doing this for years. I am funny. I have complete confidence in where I'm taking you all.
You know, that was
if you're
actually
laughing, you just don't know it yet. Like, you just don't know I'm funny yet.
That was the impression I got of Tim Perez the first time I ever saw him.
He's very much
one
like that.
open mic. I was like, this guy could be doing that same. Like, he is just entirely himself right now.
Yeah, there's never anything in your mind or that in Tim's mind, or at least from the outside looking in, where it seems like Tim isn't completely in control of the situation.
Yeah.
Or completely confident in his own bit. And that makes people relax. People like when the comedian or the performer has the authority over the room. That means that, oh, I could relinquish my authority and just relax. And no, you got it. You're taking us somewhere, versus like sometimes people get on stage and they're inconfident, and then, people in the audience go like, is he okay? Like, is he bombing right now? Ooh, I would hate to be this person, man. And then that starts, and then
I've seen that.
And then that's all the audience is thinking about, and they're not thinking about, the performer. They're just kind of like, ooh.
I've seen a couple times where comedians will bring joke books on stage, and there's nothing wrong with that, but then they'll nervously flip through it during.
I feel like the bringing the joke book on stage, that's already like you're looking for a fail safe.
Yeah.
I understand.
So what I've noticed with like roast battle, because that's different, because obviously you only have so much time to prepare, but I've seen that a lot of them, they'll write down stuff on their hands to make it look natural, right? Because then I could just do this and then kind of
exactly.
That's
if you're like a joke. All right, if that didn't work,
that's what I saw. The guy,
like,
he was literally doing that in between. He was like, "Oh, well, that one didn't work." Flipping the page, like, don't say that on stage, dude.
So some people do that, but that's a fail safe. A lot of people. It's not. I'm not even saying I've never done it before. Like it's a way to
there's
kind
ways
of soften the blow of failure.
You can't just awkwardly like, oh, that didn't work, and then flip the page. You have to like kind of like smoothly operate your way out of it. If that's kind of, it's almost showing like flexing your stage muscles if you can do it right. Like if you can take a joke that bombed and then flip it somehow, that's actually.
But if you're looking at your notes, you're most likely not going to do that.
No.
You're
already fumbling.
You're already looking for the answer somewhere else besides like, no, I got to take this somewhere. Like,
and I
got to land this plane.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, like a notebook, bringing it up there is almost like having a parachute. It's like, oh, okay, like this, I'm out of the performance. I'm into study mode. It's like, nope, this is performance mode. It's all action here. You already wrote your jokes. You know what's on that notebook. Like, now it's up to you to connect this moment to the next moment in live time.
And you can only take the notebook so far.
You only can take it so far. They're not gonna let you bring a notebook on Jimmy Fallon.
You go on SNL with your
like it's not. Come on, it's performance. You got to do it. My favorite Chappelle show quote is like Wyclef Jean talking to Chappelle dressed as Dylon from Making the Band. He's like, hey, we could either make the song or we could not make the song. And that's kind of how I think of it. It's like you gonna make the song, you gonna not make the song. Like, you gonna do it or you gonna not. And at the end of the day, you just gotta do it and commit to it.
Yeah.
Commit. Like, and that's the thing. There's no jumping out. There's no I'm gonna when you're doing stand up, let me just write some more real quick and I'll get back. Like, you only got 5 minutes, bro. You only got 6 minutes, bro. Like, you only got 10 minutes. Like, and trust me, I'm not saying that like eventually, or I'm not saying that people don't maybe start at a place like that, but I feel like eventually you're gonna have to put that confidence in your skills, like your on stage in the moment skills. You already know enough. You already written enough. You studied this 100 times. Like, you just gotta do. Now it's all action, So, and that, to me, like I'm saying, I think that's the hardest thing in stand-up comedy. Period. Like, that's what separates people who are great from who's not great. Who's like, is just being able to commit to it
naturally, though.
Naturally,
that's because you can commit, but it can come off unnatural. Like, I think that's another similarity with music and comedy.
I mean, well, let me not name any names.
Gut punch right there.
Yeah, Freddie got fingers.
It's just like I think like with music, you can tell when somebody's committing, but it's like, oh, you're playing a character right now. Like, you're not being real. You're playing a character. Yeah. And sometimes that can work with music and with comedy, but I think for the most part, it's kind of corny. It's kind of
gimmicky. Yeah. I haven't really thought about what that is, like where that line is when it becomes gimmicky. Because I see it so much to where it's like, there's some people who commit to characters where I'm like, I love it. like a comic that a character comic that is really exceptional in my opinion is Lisa Beasley.
Okay.
I don't know if you heard of her.
No, I don't think so.
Check her out, Lisa Beasley. She does like a show at the Laugh Factory, like I think a monthly show. And a lot of the times, she does stand up too, but like she'll come out and play these characters. And she's played like Lori Lightfoot, and like she's played like kind of like this old like kind of like older man, you know, like kind of like that uncle who just always giving you bad advice. Like she's kind of played that character before, like, but I don't know, it's something about how she does it. She just like commits to it so much, but it never comes off as corny, or I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just like you got to be a good actor or something. Like maybe that's it. But some people
probably that same commitment you're talking about.
Yeah,
the commitment to the bits.
I feel like with characters you got to commit even more than in stand up. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, yeah, I don't know. A lot of people can't do characters well.
No,
but she does characters well, and I don't know. I don't understand exactly why she does characters well more than anyone else. And she could do them live, too. There's not a lot of people who could do characters live.
Yeah, I wonder what that would be.
Like, just on a mic, and I'm just playing a character and making you laugh with what I say. Like, that's hard. A lot of people don't do that.
You know Adam Ray? Familiar with him at all?
Where is it?
He's gotten real popular off of appearing as Dr. Phil all over the place.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen his as much, but I'm sure it's the same thing.
It's the same idea. It's him that's selling it. But it's also, he never breaks character. He's Dr. Phil for an hour. He's touring as Dr. Phil.
Yeah,
we've gotten this far.
So I never understood. Is he like a good Dr. Phil impressionist, or is it just more
he's
like... He's
not bad. He's all right. Like, I'm not very good, but he's
It's just
really...
more, it's him. It's the fact... Because sometimes it's like, it's almost funny. Like, a part of someone, like, I don't know how familiar you are with, like Martin Lawrence. Stuff like that. So Martin Lawrence plays characters a lot in the Martin show. One thing that was interesting about Martin was that his characters, he would commit to them, but you would know that, like, this is just a character. Right. But that would make it funnier for some reason. Like, I know this is Martin in a wig just being stupid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, or I know... But there's some people, it's like, no, I am this character. Like, there's no... And that's a different type of funny that's harder to kind of...
Right.
You know, yeah. You know, it's weird. Like,
That's
what I think is the funny thing about Key and Peele. Like, usually Key is the one that's like... He's kind of playing himself a little bit, but just in different environments. Like, the taller one, like he, you know... He'll put on a wig, you know, he'll play someone, and it's like, this is a good character, but you know, it's still a little bit of him in there.
Right.
But Peele usually, sometimes he'll just like transform, and he'll just be that guy who has the funny voice or like that. You know, like, Peele is a really good actor, in my opinion.
Well, he became, like, a renowned filmmaker now.
Yeah, which is funny, but, like, yeah, like, I always thought Peele, like, he would be a good character in, like, a horror movie or something. Like,
yeah,
he would
he casted himself, even.
Yeah, I think he should do that. I think he'd be a good, like, you know, like, serial killer or, like, you know, something like that.
It'd be cool if he did, like, there was the Safdie brothers, if you know those guys.
Yeah. Good Time and Uncut Gems and stuff.
And now one of them, I think it's Benny Safdie, now he's doing a bunch of movies. Like, he's becoming an actor.
I think Peele should... I mean, I think it's kind of hard, though, because, like, Peele doesn't really have, like, a serious face. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't have...
Maybe that's what he thinks, and that's why he, like, stuck to directing. You know?
Yeah.
Maybe he did comedy. He did a comedy show and directing. That would make sense if he... Like, damn, why are these motherfuckers laughing at me?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a situation where I was at a haunted house.
Okay.
But I was working at the haunted house. And so I had to play one of the monsters. So I think I, like, got a scarecrow mask or something, and then I had, like, a scarecrow outfit. And then when the people, like, came by, I'd be like, I'll try to scare them, and then they would just laugh. And I was just kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I was trying so hard, and it was just like, they would just laugh, and I would just be like, damn, like, what's the... I guess... And those are those moments where you're just like, yeah, I guess maybe comedy. It's just like the only option for me. I don't know. I'm trying to scare people and they laughing and shit. You
Yeah.
ain't no monster, nigga. Like,
That is so
like
funny.
you too cute to be. You look adorable, dude. Like, shut up. It's like, fuck.
You like a baby face scarecrow.
Basically, I'm
That
like,
is so fun. They rejected you.
they rejected me on the spot. I'm like,
Wow.
you guys are rejecting my fear. I
That
don't
would
scare
actually
people.
like kind of. That's the rejection that keeps me away from comedy. Is that very rejection? And
Oh,
I
it's like
fear
the flip
that.
of it. It's
Yeah,
like
they
you're trying
won't
to
laugh.
be funny, and then everyone's like, "Nah, bro, stop it." Mm-hmm. That's scary, man.
I'm sure you've dealt with your fair share of it.
Oh yeah, I've gotten booed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
booed.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I mean, okay, to be fair, when I tell people this story, like it was a Showtime at the Apollo style comedy show. Okay. So that means they encouraged people to boo if they didn't like it.
Oh.
So it was like I was on this talent show and my head just was not in the game. I think like the first couple jokes I had them, and then it was just kind of like some of my more like longer premises. I started to talk about some of those, and those don't always like. Usually, where we end up isn't or is more funny than the journey or like the middle part of it. So basically, I had a lot of fluff. And it was just like this one old lady in the front that just started booing. And she started standing up like, boo, boo, boo. It was just like, and then her friend stood up and started booing. And then it was like, then the boos started peppering in more. And then it was just like, fuck. I didn't get a unanimous boo. Like, it wasn't like, there was some girl there at that same show I was at. She got a unanimous boo. It was like everybody in the house was like standing up, like it was like people in the back, people in the corner. It was kids booing, like It was like that kind of thing. Like I was like, damn, it wasn't that type of boo, but it was like that for me. It was like that slow building, like peppering it in, like some people were like, man, let's boo this nigga.
Yeah.
Like they were influenced by other people. Like, oh, I guess my grandma didn't like this.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, my wife's not liking this. Boo! Like, because even people came after me, and they are like after the show, people like came up to me like, I was waiting until you landed, bro. Like, I want to see you land the plane. And I was just like, I was with you, like like yeah, they might like every joke might have not been like top tier, but like you got something there, like. But yeah, and then there's some people who like I heard them talking about me. It was like somebody's wife or grandma or something, and they're just like, yeah, he wasn't funny at all. I'm just like, sting, like, I ain't never got that. Yeah, I heard somebody say he wasn't funny at all. I was like, damn, I ain't never got that a day in my life. I wouldn't have, if I got that once, I wouldn't have did this. Someone told me I wasn't funny at all.
If you knew that's what you were walking into, you wouldn't have showed up.
Yeah, like, but it is what it is. I mean, I think it made me stronger.
Oh yeah. Was it like, so it's a show they tell people, like they encourage it. They say go ahead and boo.
Yeah,
and
they
that's
said,
kind
"If
of
you're not
part of the
feeling it,
fun.
boo." Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then this old lady got ahead of herself. She was like, boo.
How far into your set were you? Do you remember?
Probably like 3 minutes.
Out of 10?
I don't even know if it was like a set time.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think it was just like
Just go until they kick you off the stage.
pretty much. But yeah, I was probably going. I think I had like 8 minutes planned or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
like 10 minutes on the long end. But yeah, and then it was just like the old lady in the front. And then I did bring it back. I was just like, I was doing well until like it was like the judges. They had like a judge panel, and then like. They were like, what do you think? What's your reflections? I was like, I was doing well until the old lady like she sabotaged it all for me. And I was just kind of being honest, and I got laughs. And then, I brought it around. I brought it back around, but it was that was a moment for me.
Yeah, you gotta have those though. You gotta have a couple of those. I think it can't all be good. Like it
Can't all
actually
be-
has to be a
yeah.
little bad.
Because I feel like if you don't have that moment, then it's gonna come up like soon,
Yeah.
like, and you don't want it to come up like during like something you care about. You want it to come up on something that's a little bit more experimental, or because if you get booed and it's like you with Jimmy Fallon or something like, or on the Tonight Show, that's that's career crushing versus like, okay, but if I fail a little more like in these particular areas, I think that's a little more easier to control, so.
Yeah. Yes. Sometimes I think life is going easy on me when I fail. Like then I'm like, well, at least I didn't fail on a more massive scale. Like God actually took it easy just now.
Right. Thank you for blessing me to fail here. Is a real thing.
Yeah.
Where it's only 20 people versus like 400 people.
Yeah. These people saw me at my worst. Like at least it wasn't,
it's a secret between us 50, not like something that's on TV or like.
Don't tell anyone you just saw that tonight.
Right.
Only that grandma can walk away with that secret. Yeah, failing.
If I see her again, I'm jumping her too. Like, bitch, thought I forgot.
On the streets.
I better not catch her in the streets.
You remember that face? Do you really?
I remember that face. I hope she's scared too.
Wow, that bitch, dude.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, man, I think we're there. I think we've done it. I think 2.5 hours sounds like a good spot to stop.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. That's my. If I had like an ideal number, it would be that, or ideal time length. I feel like it's just the sweet spot.
The combo's been flowing by, man.
Yeah.
I didn't realize though. Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. I mean, it was a pleasure to meet you for real.
Yeah, likewise, man.
Didn't realize we aligned as much as we do.
Well, now we know. Now we know. Now when I see you, I'm be like, hey man, you about to get on stage, do that comedy, man.
I'll say the same thing back to you. How about you start rapping first?
Yeah, man. Okay, now I gotta. Okay, all right.
That'll be it. That'll be our eternal battle to try to get one another to do the other thing.
Stop being pussy. Do the other thing.
But for real, man, I'm sure we'll end up working together in other capacity. For those that don't know, I don't think we actually said, we did just have that show together.
Yes.
That's how I met you. So that was really cool. Shout out Tim Perez.
Shout out to Tim Perez. Shout out to Gorilla Taco Party. They got a show April 12th, 2025. So.
Yeah, dude. Tim is the man, and he's curating reality in real time, and it's just super cool to see. I think that a grassroots type thing like that is the source of it all. It's where all good things start.
I agree.
Yeah, dude, I love what you're doing. I think it's super cool. I think it when people are doing such communal things and like really truly doing it for the community, like that's why I also shout out Kelly McG. You really should check out what she's doing because
Kelly McG.
It's the same type of pure intent that she has. It means a lot to me because I see a reflection of myself within it. Like it validates what I'm doing.
Yeah.
The reason I like doing this is because it gives me an opportunity to provide something to people, like a platform for people, an actual understandable format for them to express themselves in a way that they wouldn't even know how to do otherwise.
Exactly.
And I think, like you said at the very start, like the community needs that.
Yeah, it needs. There's a vacuum for it in the city of like, because with comedians, especially black comedians, I think we don't really get booked unless we have all of our material, all of our just so perfect.
Really?
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's like there needs to be a step, a place you could climb, you know what I mean? A place you could let your hair down, that kind of thing. So that's what I try to provide.
Well, that's awesome. So at the very end, we always make sure to give you an opportunity to let the people know, one, where they can find you on the social medias, all that good stuff, but also to wrap it up with the bow, to send them home with the message. You got anything to say? The floor is yours, sir.
Okay. You can find me on Instagram at LazPat. That's LazPat. And Deep End page you can find at We Are Deep End. Again, that's We Are Deep End. And then anything to say, start committing more. I think a lot of people think that in life there aren't things that we have to fully give ourselves to or fully attach ourselves to. You are enough and you are worth committing yourself to your art, to your craft, to having good relationships, to having good friendships. You're worth it to commit to school, to that partner that makes you happy. Like, just really start investing in the things that you care about. That's what I would say people should take away from this.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This was a good one.
I like this one. Yeah, this is cool.
All right. We'll have you on again sometime, sir.
Absolutely. I'd love to come back anytime.
And with that being said, folks, Ruse Radio. Clocking out.
Double down, competition couldn't help him to rock. Missed the whole time, holy fell through the flock. That's an ordinary miracle, wealth to the block. It's a balance in the character, this calm and collect. It's apparent his caricature is lost in the